Big up to every single one of you guys, and what a Monday evening show. Me, Kenny, Ken, and the Normski. Normski hasn't got long with us, but we won't keep you too long. Bit of mixed emotions tonight, boys. It's the end of the World Cup. We'll go over the World Cup and stuff like that. But before we get onto it, Normski, how are you, my friend? You all
good?
Not
too bad. Just recovering from the World Cup. And yeah, look, at the end of the day, I think the best team won in the end, which is Spain. But, you look back and you think England, if only you just went for it, you know what I mean? But you did the thing, sat back, and you're going to lose to Argentina. So, yeah, but I'm sure we'll get into it. But other than that, yeah, I'm all good. And am I looking forward to the new season? Not really, but no. It is what it is.
No, we'll get into it. Kenny, how you been, brother? Are you all good?
I'm good, Oh, yeah, as I said before, I'm not on mute, am I? Sorry.
No, you're cool.
No, I'm good because, as I said before, I love international football. I love the World Cup. I hate to, say it, but what I've been watching the Premiership has just been pure rubbish. It's garbage. The football's not enjoyable. It's garbage. I'm with a lot of current players going to nest. So ex-players going to nest, John Terry, who just can't watch it and walk out. I will never walk out, but I'm never going to say that the product I'm watching is brilliant. It's crap. But one thing I will say is that the World Cup was a welcome distraction. It was nice to watch attacking football, and I mean a genuine attacking football. I think people in England should try that. But yeah, England got where it should be. I was angry at the manager at first, but when I've looked back on it, I think about the other England managers who've come across the same, conclusion. Sometimes you talk about players, and you say we've got the players. But when we go to international and tournament football against teams that keep the ball, we're always found wanting, and that seems to be the case for the last 30 years. Let's not forget, Dan Huddle had the wing backs. Terry Venables had the Christmas tree formation. Why? Because he didn't want to get outnumbered in midfield because we don't keep the ball. So what's changed? But yeah, right team won. I thought Argentina showed their true colours.
I
knew that as soon as Argentina lost, that someone would be ending up on the floor, punches be thrown, accusations, swearing, and that's the Argentina I know. It was worse than 1990 World Cup final when they ruined that as well. That's who they are as a character. That's why I always say, just hold back before you celebrate them. Celebrate Messi and their players, because they'll show you who they are, and they did at the end of the final whistle.
Oh yeah, that was terrible, and we'll get on to that, and we'll get on to the World Cup. But what I thought would be fitting, boys, it's been a sad day in football terms. Today, late this afternoon, the passing of Kevin Keegan, and I mean, a little bit on Kevin Keegan here. I mean, what people don't realise, this player, I always have brackets: overrated, underrated, world class, good club player. This guy was, I believe, underrated and never really got the recognition. He's born in Doncaster. Kevin Keegan made a professional debut for nearby Scunthorpe in 1968, age 17. Skillful forward caught the eye of Liverpool Bill Shankly and made the move to Anfield in 1971. At Liverpool, Keegan won 3 Division 1 champions, 2 UEFA Cups, 1 FA Cup and a European Cup. After 323 appearances and 100 goals, Keegan left Liverpool in 77 to join Hamburg SV. We all remember that move. I do very, very fondly when he went to Hamburg. There wasn't many of our English players or players from the British Isles going abroad. I think he might have been one of the first, I'm not sure. Germany, where he became the highest paid player. But this is where he was called the Mighty Mouse, and he won European Footballer of the Year twice. Then he came back to Southampton, 80-82, PFA Player of the Year, OBE for Services Association Football. People forget also that he was the England manager as well.
Yeah.
And we all remember his famous rants, don't we?
I would love it. Yeah. He said it You're too much. Don't let Fergie ride you.
Exactly. Do you have any memories of Keegan Normski? I mean, he was a great player, wasn't he?
As a kid, especially Liverpool, when all the guys had the old big flowing hair and everything.
Yeah.
But he was a fantastic player. As you've just sort of read out his, what he's done, his achievements, winning 2 Ballon d'Ors, and he definitely, is a player that you would say is he's not underachieved, but a lot of people look at him thinking, no, actually, this guy is right up there with, the English players. And I mean, he's done so much, and actually going abroad as well to Hamburg. And I remember that thinking, oh, that's interesting. Because I remember like when the Ozzy Ardiles and them guys came to Tottenham, that it was like crazy. So for Keegan to go over there, it was kind of crazy. But I always just remember my missus, she's a big Liverpool fan, so she's a big fan of Kevin Keegan. So when it dropped today, on my feed, I sent it to her and that. So but he was a character. You could see he loved football, as I said, coming from the lower divisions and getting up there and playing at the highest level, and obviously managing Newcastle. Do you know what I'm trying to say? And that obviously famous rant that he had. Could have had. He had Newcastle play some great football. But
very attacking and very open.
Yeah, very attacking and open. Yeah. You know what I mean? Very attacking and open. I'm trying to remember the game. I think it was the game against Liverpool. Was it Collymore?
Yes.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah. So, but great guy. And obviously, you're going to be sorely missed. 75, he's no age. Do you know what I mean?
I wouldn't say so. No, shocking. Kenny, I mean, he was famous for which I don't remember. I don't know why, but I think it was in 81 in December. I mean, he scored that overhead kick against Man United at Highbury, the goal, the one of the best goals ever to be scored at Highbury that never stood for offside. What you probably know? Why was it against Man United? Was it an FA Cup match or was it a What was all that about?
Why was that?
No, I think it was. I think it might have been a League Cup game with Kevin Keegan.
Yeah,
but the thing with Kevin Keegan is that you think about if Kevin Keegan was playing now, he'd be worth 150 million pounds. And the reason why it wasn't just his footballing ability that people would have loved about him, is the fact that I've never known a bigger star. He's the first footballing superstar. I remember, being a kid, born in 1972. If you were in the late 70s and early 80s, Kevin Keegan was just like everywhere. It's like you go on a billboard, it's Kevin Keegan. Brute 33 adverts with
that program on TV, when it
Remember the Superstars and the
Superstars? Oh yeah, he used to be up against and he was very competitive, wasn't he?
Program during the summer holidays of 1980, where it was called Facts. Basically, it's the football associations. It's something to do with tactics, football tactics. And Kevin Keegan, during summer holidays, he used to have a filming. He used to film himself, shooting practice, crossing, tackling. So he was really, really, really like the biggest superstar. He was like the sort of he was like a David Beckham.
Would he kind of be equivalent to sort of like a David Beckham?
Yeah, that's what I was saying.
Yeah.
He was a David Beckham. He would have been, if we had this kind of like paparazzi that we have now and social media. Kevin Keegan was a David Beckham of his time. He was a singer, not a very good one, but he was a singer as well. He was the most marketable footballer out there. He was the highest paid player. Left Liverpool in 77, went to Hamburg, won the European Cup, European Player of the Year twice.
Yeah,
that shows how great a player he is. But the thing about it is, he wasn't as naturally gifted as George Best or Kenny Dalglish. He had to work hard to be a great player, but he had this belief in himself that he was the best player in the team. And when you think about players like Jude Bellingham, he's very confident in himself. Well, Kevin Keegan was that and more. But he had this kind of spoilt side to him. When he was a manager at Newcastle, they played beautiful football, but he loved people agreeing with him. He bore grudges. He bore grudges as
Yeah.
a coach. You know, Andy Cole would tell you that how many grudges he bore. And at Newcastle, he bore quite a few grudges. And I think when he was successful in Newcastle, he can get away with it. But when he goes to other clubs like Man City, it's not going to work. So his coaching, if you talk about his coaching, Newcastle was always the one. England international as a player, you know, not in '82 was such a really bad World Cup for England fans because Irv Booking wasn't fit, Kevin Keegan weren't fit. Can you imagine if both of them were fit, where England could have happened? You just don't know. But Kevin Keegan, a massive loss to football, you know, and you know it's a sad day for football. And I just hope that Kenny Dalglish has got the same illnesses and him. Hope he does become out of it, because I think Kevin Keegan was at stage 4 and we all knew that it was the beginning and the end for him. But it's so sad.
Yeah. Well said, Kenny and Normski. Well said. I mean, I had to do it because my fond memories of Kevin Keegan growing up, you know, like Normski, you know, the perm, and he was the poster boy, wasn't he? He was the modern day footballer, and he was the first real superstar. You know, he was on the adverts, he was on the Superstars, he was all over your TV screens, and he was also on the pundits, wasn't he? You know, he also sort of, you know, got on the punditry on the. You know, during the World Cups when he gave up playing, he was on the panels and everything else. But sad loss for old Kevin. Sad loss. Great player. One of the, I always say, I truly believe he was one of the most underrated players that I ever saw. Fantastic player. But big up to Kevin Keegan. Rest in peace, my friend.
R.I.P. man.
And R.I.P. Yeah, just get this super chat here. Big up to Fitzjoseph. Big up to you. Arsenal champs moving like top 10. What a joke. We're going to get onto that. We will get onto that. But we can't not talk about the World Cup. Normski, give us your kind of, because I know you're pressed for time, give us your kind of breakdown on the World Cup as the whole. The stadiums, the hosts, who stood out for you? Did you enjoy it?
Yeah, first of all, I did enjoy the World Cup, and I thought America, Canada, and Mexico had done a great job hosting it. Fantastic. I thought there was, apart from what we saw last night at half time, that will probably be the only little damper for me. But other than that, I thought it started off great. You had lots of goals. Obviously, lots of controversies, red cards, sending offs, all of that, you know. And then, you know, you look at the teams like Cape Verde, Carousel, those teams, like, you know, never expected them to, you know, do what they did. You know, Cape Verde against Argentina, I mean, it was fantastic. Then you've got the likes of, you know, African teams. You know, I think there was 9 of them in like the last 32. Do you know what I mean? Mexico, and then obviously Morocco and Egypt. I think Egypt went was it Egypt that went the furthest, or Morocco? I just can't remember which round. There was so many. Was it Egypt that went the furthest, or Morocco? I think it was Egypt, wasn't it?
I think they got. Did they get knocked out at the same stage?
Yeah, I think they did. Yeah, because Morocco played France, didn't they? And Egypt.
Yeah, Egypt played Argentina.
Yeah, but I mean, look, you know,
they were. Well, some people say Egypt was robbed. That second goal should have stood.
Yeah. That, I mean, I think that run from the you know, from their half, you know what I mean? You know, they saw it as a foul. It would have been not one of the greatest goals, but it would have been right up there. Yeah. But yeah, all in all, I thought it was a great World Cup. As I said, great goals. You know, you had the whole thing of Mbappe and Messi, you know, going for the Golden Boot. In the end, it ends up as Mbappe, you know, scoring 10 goals. Now, I know Shane was saying that, you know, and when I thought about it, I was thinking to myself, listen, they're playing for the wooden spoon, and he's ended up, you know, scoring 2 goals and getting the Golden Boot as a team that's being knocked out. You know what I mean? So it's kind of added a little bit of tainted edge to it, but you know, it is what it is. It's still within the competition. And France, you know, they turn up when they need to turn up, and then you've got like Norway. I didn't really expect to do what they did. And then, you know, the individuals, you know, like Jude Bellingham, literally dragging England over almost over the line. Unfortunately, you know, we got to that stage, semi-finals, and we bottled it. You know, we sit back and Argentina come into it and end up winning the game. That was tough for us. We didn't watch along for that.
Yeah, it was.
But I think overall, I thought the referees. I thought if I was going to give a score out of 10, I'd say 8 out of 10 referees. The jobs that they did over there. People are going to talk about the controversies. People are going to talk about the stuff with Argentina and like, is it rigged and all of that stuff and that. But I think overall, I thought the referees done really well. And then I suppose lastly, Spain lifting the cup, only conceding 1 goal from here to the finals, and Trump got a picture with them at the end.
Yeah, we had to get on. He had to have his thing, didn't he? That was hilarious. I couldn't believe Gianni on that when Gianni and Matty when that happened. The presentation, yeah. Big up T-Dot. Is Keegan top 10 in terms of English players? He's up there. He's definitely up there, 100%. He is up there. As Kenny said earlier when we was doing the little memory of him. If he was around today, 150 million, easily. Kenny, I've enjoyed the World Cup. As I said, it's been a breath of fresh air since the Premier League. We've been bored out of our minds for most of that all last season and the season before, to be honest. So it has been a breath of fresh air. Cape Verde is on everyone's lips when it comes to that. And as Normski said, the African teams, Morocco, in my book, went out with a bit of a whimper in the end. I thought they would have won a better performance in that match. But what's your overall opinion on the World Cup, Kenny?
I think it's saved the game. I think it's saved the game. It's saved the game, and I think what's happened is educated a lot of fans in this country. Maybe they may be more humble when they talk about the Premiership. Maybe they'll realise the garbage they've been watching, absolute rubbish.
Yeah,
they'll fake Spain for doing football a big favour. I think one thing I loved about the World Cup was the attacking football. I loved the matches. I never left the match and thought I was bored. There's only about 1 or 2 matches I got bored by. Overall, I enjoyed watching all the games. I enjoyed watching England because I knew that England were going to give me what I wanted. I found watching England very stressful, and I mean very, very stressful. Group games, all the way up to the semi-final. In fact, I was really, really gutted when England went out, and I actually
interrupting you though. Sorry, my friend. Do you think on the whole England's had a good World Cup, or do you think it's been disappointing? Really,
I think the thing is England are where they should be. They are the 4th best side. They are the 4th best side in the world. Well, 3rd because they finished. That's where they should be. They beat teams they should be. They paid Argentina way too much respect. They're better than Argentina, and they'll be kicking themselves. Yeah. But if they got to a final against Spain, they wouldn't have won.
No,
Spain would have toyed with them and tortured them mentally and physically. Tuchel is right. England had the hardest schedule out of everyone. There's no doubt about it. That 1 minute they're playing in Dallas, then they're playing in New Jersey, then they're playing in Miami, then Atlanta, then Mexico, then Atlanta, then Miami again, then Atlanta, and then Miami again. They had definitely had the toughest schedule. But the thing about it is that what we learned from England is what we know all the time. They have moments. They made heavy weather of beating everyone, but they did. Players did turn up. Jude Bellingham was a find. I mean, who knew that Jude Bellingham wasn't a good player? Who knew that Jude Bellingham wasn't a big game player? Who knew, Who knew that Harry Kane,
I'll be honest.
Who knew that Harry Kane in the latter stages of the World Cup needs support up top and needed taking off? That in the group stage, Harry Kane's fine, but when he's against teams that can defend, he struggles.
Yeah.
And the manager missed a trick in not getting Watkins in and getting Tony Moore involved, because I think they would have given defenders a lot more to do, especially against Argentina. I thought, but when you think about other teams, Brazil were what I thought they were. I thought Ancelotti proved to me what he is. The real Ancelotti isn't a great coach. He's only a coach with great players alongside him. He proved that. when Ancelotti wins all these trophies, he deserves the accolades, but he's won it with great players. He's great with great players. He's great at motivating great players. But when the plan doesn't work, or key players get injured, he's finished. There's no plan B of him. The minute he lost Paquetá, the minute he lost, the guy from Barcelona, what's his name?
Rafinha.
Play for Leeds United.
Rafinha. Yeah.
Nothing. Bringing on Neymar was just laughable. I mean, his son
even shaking Neymar was laughable for me.
His son was shaking his head when he came on against Scotland. That says a lot. Yeah. And the African teams really, really impressed me, but some of them wanted shooting. And I say, they contributed towards their exits. Congo contributed towards their exit against England. Senegal contributed towards their exit. Cote d'Ivoire, there's no way. They just want shooting. I mean, Senegal 2-0 up against the.
Oh yeah.
I'm sorry, you want. Yeah. Morocco were the best out of the African teams, but they placed France too much respect.
Didn't they?
But you know what really annoyed me, and I think it's unfair. The real star and the best player in the World Cup was actually Mbappe. It wasn't Messi. But yeah, the way FIFA had this scheduled in order to make sure that Messi and Argentina had, like a pathway that was as smooth as anything. They had more evening games than anyone else.
Yep.
They didn't have to travel as far as anyone else. The refereeing in the Egypt game was just shocking beyond bizarre. I think, some of the behaviour of the Argentines, it was very difficult for an Argentinian player to get sent off. I mean, Messi against Algeria, stamp on a leg, leg breaking, career-ending tackle. It's got to go off. And I think some of the pundits in this country should be ashamed of themselves. The way they were falling over the guy. Andros Townsend, he commits a career-ending tackle. Well, you can't book a Messi. It's Messi. Joey Cole. Oh, I want Argentina to play in the World Cup because I just want to keep watching Messi.
Yeah, I know. It's crazy.
I mean, that made me want to get the sit bucket out. And it's Braden Rooney and Micah Richards, who have actually had a very good World Cup. I just want to pay tribute. The punditry's been fantastic.
I like Wayne Rooney personally.
Yeah, he's very straight up. Yeah.
Even though the BBC didn't have the stage and didn't have the kind of the location, I thought their pundits were better than ITV. I was very disappointed with ITV pundits. I thought, I expected more from Wayne Rooney. Ian Wright was the best out of Wayne Rooney and Gary Neville. I expected more from Roy Keane. But saying that, Mbappe was the better player of the tournament, not Messi.
Do you think he should have got it? Do you think Mbappe deserved to get the award over Rodri?
100%, because the rules.
I was going to say, because Rodri ended up getting it, didn't he?
I mean, he should have got to play the tournament.
I was surprised. I mean, Rodri's had a great tournament. Don't get me wrong.
This is the first time. This is not the first time the authorities have done this. The authorities robbed Vinny Jr. of the Ballon d'Or in 2024 for reasons we don't know, to give it to Rodri because he won the European Championships. They did it again when Mbappe was the best player of the tournament. It wasn't Rodri, but the fact is that it seems that FIFA make their mind up depending on what happens in the final. Supposing if Argentina won that final, do you think Rodri would have got player of the tournament? It would have given it to Messi.
Oh, yeah.
They made that decision on the final whistle.
It's goalpost. It's ridiculous.
David Kabasi, that decision was made on the final whistle. Then the Golden Glove, that was a no-brainer. He only let in one goal.
Yeah.
But I think that the player of the tournament was our good friend Mbappe. He scored the most goals.
Yeah.
Messi had great moments, but clearly Mbappe is at the moment the best player in the world. But we're not allowed to say that because Messi and Cristiano Ronaldo are still fixture. I wanted to say one more thing. I thought the disrespect towards Cristiano Ronaldo made me sick. Players are not even fit to wipe his. Not fit to.
It was a lot of disrespect, wasn't there?
I mean, players like Chris Sutton and all these idiots saying Portugal went out because of Ronaldo. I mean, these guys are not even fit to hold his coat. They're not even fit to serve him drinks.
Not even fit to walk in the same room as him, mate. To be honest with you,
they got the audacity to put a player like that down. Who, by the way, scored 3 goals, and by the way, is 24 goals away from 1,000 goals. So put some respect in his name. You can love Messi, but you can respect Ronaldo as well.
100%.
Just be a bit humble, some of you guys.
100%. And he's done it in so many different countries as well. Done it in so many different countries. But I mean, look, Normski, I mean, the right team won it in the end, Spain. I thought Spain started sort of, slowly, but they grew into the tournament and they were going under the radar a bit, weren't they? Because Mbappe was showing up for France. Messi was showing up early for Argentina, Haaland for Norway, and Spain was quietly sort of going around their business, weren't they? No one was really mentioning them, were they?
No.
And then,
I mean, yeah. Go ahead. If you just want to finish what you're going to say. No.
I mean, for me, the right team won it. But I mean, what are you saying, Norms?
No, 100%. I think, the likes of Messi and Mbappe did kind of distract us from Spain. As I said, they just ticked along in the background, doing their thing. Some people might have said that they didn't play the prettiest of football. What they did do is have an identity, and I think that was something that yourself, Shane, I said that there's teams that made it to that final, likes of Argentina, Spain. They've still kept their identity. You look at Brazil, they've kind of lost their identity in terms of their flair and what they come with. But what I felt was Spain. I mean, De Fonte. I mean, in terms of his organisational skills with the team, they're so organised.
Well drilled,
well drilled all over the park. You know what I mean? Was it? I didn't get the impression that they played ticky-tacky football. But I said, I think I put in Shane's chat this morning that maybe Arteta could learn a few tricks of this guy, because even though they only conceded 1 goal and they didn't score a lot of goals, bags of goals, but what they did well was they kept the ball. You couldn't get it off of them, and they stayed calm. Yeah. They didn't get caught up in when Argentina was doing all the dark arts and everything. They didn't get caught up in that.
No.
Unfortunately, England did. I think Bellingham bit a little bit. Do you know what I mean? And they played into that. They played to the occasion. Whereas Argentina tried to do that in the finals. It didn't happen. So it kind of, the first half was kind of like chess. It was a bit of a chess game. But when you think Argentina, I think in total for the whole 120 minutes plus 2 shots on target.
Yeah, that's crazy.
That's crazy. At one point when we was watching it, Ed, you brought up the stats. I thought you was joking. Zeros,
no.
So
and a lot of people are blaming the sending off, but they never had a shot on target.
They didn't have a shot before that.
Poor. It was a poor show, and it was really frustrating, wasn't it? Though, Kenny, that look, my opinion on Thomas Tuchel. For me, that is unforgivable. The way he set up against Argentina, the way he sort of tactically got it wrong against Argentina, and people are saying, "Oh, but it's tournament football. He's going to learn." This is a guy that's been at PSG. This is a guy that's won Champions League football. This ain't a novice. This is an experienced elite manager. In my eyes, I will never forgive him for what he done against Argentina, because I can handle losing a match with England. I'm used to it. We're all used to it. But not to be given the chance to win that match, because he played Rodgers on the right. Okay, that brought a lot of question marks. He played 3 hours of football with Aston Villa on the right-hand side. Then he ends up at right wing back. And I'm thinking, well, why don't he put Rodgers in the middle, take off Rice or Anderson, leave Bellingham on there, bring Saka on, go Rashford on the left, and push Kane up as a target man further forward because his legs had gone, right? So I'm thinking, do that. Then if we lose, I'm going, well, okay, well, at least we try. But to go out like that, for me, I think it should have cost him his job. But I know you're completely different about him losing his job on this, but that's how strongly I felt at the time. You know what I mean? And still do, Kenny, to be honest with you.
Well, I've got a lot of respect for what you said, because I think he should keep his job. And the reason why I think he should keep his job on the basis that we are where we should be. We are better than Argentina. There's no doubt in my mind. But during that game, it became pretty obvious to me after England scored that they weren't going to win the game. Argentina were pushed and pushed and pushed. His biggest mistake is that he trusted the players.
But we couldn't get out, Kenny. He'd taken all.
But you know what? I blame the players. The reason why I blame the players, because I'm telling you right now, they were happy to take the credit when after Mexico, which was this massive result, which everyone was, harping about. Dan Burn was ready to take the credit. George Bellingham took the credit. It was a rearguard action. Tuchel got a bit of credit, but they really took the credit, and they did it again against Norway. Now, I'm not too funny, right? You've got 121 caps at international level. You try and tell me that Harry Kane can't get his teammates up the pitch. 91 caps in goal. You try and tell me, he said, get out of my area, the goalie. Get out of my area.
I see what you mean. I can understand where you're coming from.
What Gay was like, he's basically like John the Baptist of, in terms of like leadership. He's got to do that. He's got to be able to go out. They're not too funny, right? They had warning after warning about crosses going in, not just hopeful crosses, accurate crosses going in, where the service is so great that it doesn't matter whether you're 6'8" or 5'8", you're going to hit the post. Pickford's had to make saves. He's had to make a save for him, and all short for Fernandes. I mean, as much as you're sitting back, someone's got to get out to Fernandes and say, hang on, stop that. Someone's got to, get out of Messi. Where he went wrong is that he should have taken off Harry Kane. That's where you blame him. Because if he takes off Harry Kane, he's got. I was thinking, oh my God, if England get the ball out, this guy won't hold the ball up, but he's going to run in behind us. So
and we didn't have that. Yeah, Harry Kane, because he was dropping literally. He does that in his game anyway. He drops deep, and
regardless of what you think of Saka, Madueke, or Rashford, one of them had to come out and play and be on.
There was no outlet ball. There was no outlet ball. Yeah.
Saka would have stretched the game. Madueke would have stretched the game on the basis that England will have that out ball, and they're thinking, right, regardless of whether he's good or not, or we don't rate him or not, he's going to stretch players. So that drags the Argentinian defenders, back on the retreat, and it gives them something to think about. So that's where we went wrong. But even if you didn't have those players, all you got to do is do the high line. You did a high line. Not one Argentina player has got any pace to get over the top.
To do that,
Alvarez hasn't got pace to get over the top.
Yes.
Simeone was taken off because of ineffectiveness. He did his job. He got in everyone's faces. That's what you got to do against teams. That's why coaches love the high line, because you have the high line. What will happen is that they're not going to pass around you. They're going to hit the ball long, and if you get everything right, they're offside all the time. Even the inverted forward, and I think that's where it went wrong.
Too deep.
But you know what it was? Sorry, guys, just to cut in. I mean, soon as England scored, and that's why I say I wouldn't put the blame on Tuchel at that point, because as soon as they scored, we was watching it. It's just like they just started to drop deeper and deeper. And you saying, DJ, Wade, you kept saying, why are they dropping deeper? They kept dropping deeper and deeper. And I think what sort of like he made it even worse was what Tuchel now then taking off an attacking player in Gordon and bringing on Konza. Yeah. And so all of a sudden now it's even like, okay, we've brought that on now. Argentina looked at it and thought, hang on, we're going to get more into this game. And literally,
it gave them.
Messi went out wide, and they didn't really kind of pick up on that. And we had the warning shots, the balls coming over. And when he's putting pinpoint balls over into the area, and for the winning goal, John Stones, I think it was between John Stone and Konza, like Lautaro Martinez is between them, and he's pinpoint, put it in the middle, bang, and he's done it in injury time. Do you know what I mean? So they dropped that too deep. And it's just, they should have really went for, as soon as they scored, they should have went for it. Just go for it. Do you know what I mean? They're bigger, stronger players. They should have went for it. But
Yeah.
You know, they just went back in their shell.
It was frustrating. It was frustrating. It was frustrating, really frustrating. But I can understand where Kenny's coming from. Players, we still had enough experience on the pitch to sort of say, right, let's get up, let's push them higher. Yeah. And we didn't. And I think we got a bit. I think it was a mixture of both. I think tactically we got it wrong by Tuchel. Yeah. Players got stage fright. Certain players froze in the occasion, and I think they then became. Once the pressure started getting on, and you remember it was absolutely mobbed by Argentinian fans as well. They started to get behind the team as well, and I think it was just a mixture of everything. But for me, missed opportunity for me.
Sorry, cut in, right?
Go on, mate.
I think our goalkeeper has been inconsistent throughout the tournament. He's been part of the problem. I thought against Ghana, he nearly cost us the game.
Yeah.
He should have been sent off against Ghana.
Yeah.
No, he causes panic. He should have. He was. Let's just say a goalkeeper with longer levers saves the.
Yeah, I was going to say he should have. He could have. Yeah.
Veterina, the first goal for Croatia. A goalkeeper with longer levers gets to Fernandez's goal. A goalkeeper who is reading the game comes for that cross that was put in for Messi. Because if he misses it, you got a problem. But when he's letting his defenders, it's not.
And he's flat-footed. He's flat-footed.
Yeah, he's flat-footed because he should know. He should gamble and said, right, I'm not going to leave it to Dan Burn. I'm not going to leave it to Konza. I'm not going to let Lautaro Martinez, right, get in that situation where he's going to have a free header. I'm going to boss that area because it's in your area. But where I'm really blaming for is that as an experienced player, that the 6-yard box, the 8-yard box, that's your box. That's yours. Gordon Banks always said that he didn't want players in his area. That was his area. He was annoyed with Jack Charlton in 1966 when Helmut Haller scored the first goal because he's thinking, hang on here, you're in my way. I can't see that shot come through. Get out my area. If that Charlton doesn't makes that block outside the box, Jordan Banks reckons he could have saved it because he didn't go when Haller scored that goal. It didn't go in the corner of the net. It went virtually in the middle of the goal, but Jordan Banks couldn't see it. So he's always saying, "Get out of my area." Pickford should dominate his area more. So the challenge is now, if you're talking about post-mortems, new goalkeeper, please.
Find a new goalkeeper. Yeah. And yeah, I mean, it's a good point. I mean, Pickford's like Marmite, isn't he? You either like him or dislike him. And some people think that he's the number one, should be the number one. Joe Hart thinks rightly of him. But yeah, I mean, it's one of them. It is one of them with the goalkeepers, isn't it? You know, you either love them or hate them. But big up to everyone in the chat. Make sure you smash your like and make sure you follow Normski as well and Kenny Ken on Insta as well. Before we go into the 11 that's on the ESPN that they pick, question for the older panel members: do you think the World Cup has too many teams in it right now? Norms, quickly on the World Cup.
Which one is old?
Yeah, well, yeah, exactly. Yeah, less of the oldest, less of the old. But
do you know what?
Teams, I think it's been a breath of fresh air.
Yeah, you know what? I think when they announced, to have 48 teams, and I was like, oh no, you know what I mean? It's like, oh, here we go, more money in that. But I thought you just took the words like breath of fresh air, and teams that we thought were probably just going to be there to just make up the numbers. I didn't see that, especially from the likes of Cape Verde. I didn't see that. You know what I mean? And now there's talk about it increasing to 64. They're going to be looking at that. And you're going to think, it's going to be too much. But I'm kind of warming to the idea now. They're going to expand it out even more. So for me, I'm cool with it. I think it's just that we're so used to, seeing 32, and now it's expanded to 48.
And it's going to expand again,
It's going to expand again, you know what I mean? Yeah. Before it's like 32, 48, 64, is 120.
I mean, it's one of them, isn't it? It's let's be honest, it's a money-making scheme.
Yeah, that's where we are now.
Yeah, that's where we are now, but it's enjoyable for all us World Cup lovers. Kenny, this is the team, I don't know whether you agree with this, and Normski, you can come in as well, but this is a team that's been picked one of the many of teams that's been picked. The reason why I brought this up is because this is the closest to my 11 that I would have picked. This is the best 11 from the World Cup. So they've gone with a Cape Verde goalkeeper. Does anyone disagree with that?
For what he's done, do you know what I mean? Was he 40?
Kenny's laughing. Kenny's smiling.
Sentimentality.
Right, sentimental reasons he gets that.
Yeah, okay.
Yeah.
Not based on facts, sentiments. Don't forget that, you know.
He had a good World Cup, but sentimentality.
Yeah,
right.
From that point of view.
It's an interesting one here, right? Because, again, Jed Spence has come... there's always a player in England that sort of goes, oh, hang on a minute, I didn't realise he had that in him.
Yeah.
Jed Spence has got in there at right back on this particular 11. What we saying there, guys?
Do you know what?
Or?
When he went, because who got injured and he came in, and he didn't have a great game when he first come in, but as the game went on and the tournament went on, he grew into the game, and you know the games what we saw him against I thought he had a great game there. Do you know, in that block, in the Argentina game, I thought he had a great game. And I thought from that point of view, I thought, and this is not sentiments now. I thought he grew into the game and he was getting better and better. So, I
mean, and then Kabasi, Kenny, any arguments with that, Laporte?
No, well, they've only let in one goal.
Exactly. How old is he, Kabasi? Is he what?
19.
19. It's ridiculous. 19.
Yeah, I know. Laporte played at Man City. Both couldn't. I mean, Laporte's French, but there's another French guys in the squad anyway. He played in the Euros anyway. But Kabasi, excellent on the ball. Support, excellent on the ball. Cucurella is the best left back in the world.
Cucurella, I've always rated Cucurella. I rated him when he was at Brighton.
Good luck, Chelsea, without him. Good luck with Chelsea. Good luck with him.
Brilliant. So we're all going with that. Spence is a bit of a surprise there. Who else would you put at right back there, though? I mean,
the problem is that you have to find a place.
I would have gone.
But who's been England's best defender?
Pedro Porro. I would have gone with. I think he's been brilliant.
Yeah, who's England's best defender, though?
Well, this is it. I mean, we're going to get on before we get on.
I think he's up there as England's best defender.
I think so. Yeah. And I would say that Mark Gahey has probably been one of the most disappointing players this World Cup. I was expecting more from Gahey. He didn't shine at all. Van Dijk was another one for me. Very disappointing. I don't know about Bowaldi in midfield. I think Rodri.
I think there was just the one for me. I think it was just the one game he stood out. Do you know what I mean? Again, I think just people just getting excited. I just thought the one game stood out.
Potential, and you look at them, guys. 18-year-olds are not meant to do that, you know. And to assess, and to a certain extent, he has had a good tournament. No,
I think Elise goes in there for me.
Yeah. I'm surprised he's not in the side. The biggest thing Elise's found out on Saturday is that you have to be, in order to, cement your place in one of the greats, your goal rate at international level's got to be better than that. You had clear-cut chances.
Yeah. And then I'm glad Bellingham got in there. Now I've held my hands up, 3 or 4 times here. I always thought he was a bit of a hype player. I always thought he was overrated. I knew he was a good player, but I didn't understand all the big hype behind Bellingham. However, after this World Cup, I can fully see it now. So I have held my hands up. I think he's had a brilliant tournament, and he's shown that he is a very, very good player.
It's not just I hear what Darren said about Mark Gahey. I think the problem with Mark Gahey is who he is. He's one of those players, right, who is so integrated in his faith that he always believes that tomorrow, whatever happens, it's all down to God. And when you're a football fan, you want more passion than that. But that's who he is as a player.
Yeah.
He is as a player. And they call him uncle for a reason, because he is an uncle. I thought he had a mixed World Cup. I thought he did well against, when he came in, he did all right against Ghana. Panama didn't have much to do. I was pleased with him against I was pleased with him against Congo. I thought it was more Spence and Konsa out of position for the goal. Against Norway, I thought he had a really good game. But consistency-wise, I think with Mike Gahey, You know the problem we got with Mark Gay. We're so used to players like Harry Maguire and Terry Butcher,
Yeah.
who got the war wounds. You know,
Yeah.
Paul
And Adams and all of these
Paul-
hard
Paul-
games.
yeah.
You're kind of looking for that leader. I mean, look,
Yeah.
they brought along Henderson to kind of be that
Well,
thing. But I think,
Henderson, to be honest, Henderson would have played more games had he broke his arm, because when I guess especially against Argentina, whatever you say about Jordan Henderson, do you think Jordan Henderson would have allowed that to happen against Argentina?
and I think that's where the leadership needed to come in.
He would have allowed England defending their goal line. He wouldn't have had it.
And if Harry Kane's your captain, you can't be like, somebody's got to take the game by the scruff of the neck and say, come on.
Do you remember when England played Croatia? When we were behind closed doors because of the Croatians fans causing trouble, and it was a game in I think it was a European nations game behind closed doors. You could hear Jordan Henderson running the match, telling the players where to go. He was get there. Jordan Henderson, I tell you now, would never have allowed that to happen.
No.
That football field. Regardless of what Tuchel had done, he would have said, mate, sit down, shut up. You guys up the field. There's no way Jordan Henderson would have let that happen. He wouldn't. And that's why he was brought. Everyone says, he should have been in a team. But the fact he still plays for Brentford, he can still get in an England team, shows that Tuchel wanted leaders in that squad.
Yeah, facts. And this is the front. I mean, the fact that Bellingham's in with that lot. I mean, Mbappe, I think we all agree on that. Mbappe, Bellingham, Messi and Haaland. I mean,
and I think Mbappe's better off coming off the left anyway.
Yeah, they've had a great tournament, and Haaland as well, all credit to him. He showed up, let's be honest. So, yeah, I mean, there's a couple in there that we'd swap. Perhaps I would go Pedro. I'd go Porro at right back.
there, and then I'll put in Elise.
I'd probably go Elise instead of Boaldi. But other than that, it pretty much picks itself. But let's get on to Arsenal. Normski, I'm aware you got to make.
Yeah, I'm going to give it 5 minutes, and then I'm going to have to shoot.
Okay, my friend, no worries at all. Just let me know. Let's get on to Arsenal, guys. Look, what happened with the? I mean, I'll give you the Rodgers thing. I'm a great believer with Arsenal. We know we get this every year, don't we? It's a definite. It's signed. It's the deal's done. Blah blah blah. And I've always said, unless I'm seeing them at the table, Arteta one side, Berta the other side, pen in the hand, signing away, I don't believe anything. I'm going to put it on the line. I'm not disappointed that Rodgers has gone to Chelsea. I'll be honest with you. Let him have them. I think we need to go and get better bargains than that. I thought that was a lot of money to pay for someone that ain't really an out-and-out left-sided player, left-sided winger for me. Obviously, Berta's getting the full guy now, isn't he? Because the deal was done, it broke down, and Berta's taking the flak for it. But Berta's experience, he's probably thought, you know what? I ain't going down that route.
No, I think he's come out and said, he's come out and
I'm not doing
said that.
I'm not doing it.
Yeah.
What we saying, Norms, on the
I just wanted to say, I mean, look, people are now saying that 170 million is too much for him and that. But prior to him, this thing that just came out of the blue from Chelsea, people were happy to go and pay the 130 million. They're like, yeah, go and get him. Pay it. Put the money down. Do you know what I'm trying to say? Now, it's not worth it. Now, we know that the transfer, the money is hyped up at the moment, and it's over. It's just inflated, and we're just players that are not really worth. Your Tonali's, your Andersons, they're not £100 million players, but it's because of the English tax and all of that. And the thing with Chelsea, look, they've brought him in now. That's probably their fourth £100 million player. It hasn't really made no difference to them making a thingy on the title. You know what I'm trying to say? It's that Chelsea have got the money and they can spend it. The reason why they can spend that kind of money, because what they do very well is sell players and get good money for their players. They just sold Santos to Man United for 50 million quid. Yeah. And I'm sure they've got other players that we've not heard of that they're known for buying players and flipping them. You know what I mean? Buy them for cheap and flip them. And that's what they're good at. And so the situation that we're in, Arsenal are in at the moment, is that we've been told that we've got this £300 million war chest. Who's got this information and how we've got that, I don't know.
Yeah, that's worrying.
Problem that we have, the situation that we have, is that we've got a load of over-rated players that are on lots of money, and we just can't get rid of them. And unfortunately, Berta is inherited that. He's coming, you know, from the Edu snail trail, and he's had to come and now sort this out. They gave Arteta 200 million plus last season. Some players that he got were good, some players didn't cut it for me. So now we're in a situation where we need to sell before we can go and buy. But what Bert has come out and said is that there are bargains out there, and when we say bargains, I'm not sort of saying, all right, we don't know what's going to happen with Tonsillitis, you know, or I call him tonsillitis. He could turn out to be great, but you know, the way Arteta treats attacking players, you know, they tend to only go one way. You know, we looked at the likes of Victor Gokras, who came from Sporting Lisbon. You know, the guy that was scoring 30 plus goals in a season. He's come there and he's looked. And I know Kenny don't rate him, so I'm not even going to give him a chance. Give him a chance. You know what I mean? But what I would say is that, I'm not surprised. You know, with this, and honestly, I'm just sitting here. We're 9 weeks into the transfer window, 4 weeks away from our first game of the season. 2 weeks' time, we're going to be playing Man City in the Charity Shield Cup. I feel going into this season at the moment, how I feel about it, we feel very underprepared. Reason being because we've got a lot of players that have played in the World Cup, have gone really far in the competition.
Injuries.
The injuries, fatigue. You know, you've got the situation with Saliba, fractured back, now looking at him and saying, well, Arsenal need to assess him. And basically, rather than sort out the fractured back, they're going to assess him. How long he's going to be rested for, who knows? But we are going, and I feel we're going into a season, a team that just won the Premier League after 22 years. And I feel that we need to go into a season. We looked at Liverpool last season before, who won the league at a canter. They went and spent nearly £500 million. I don't want to be in that same situation as Liverpool, where we pretty much fall off. So, Berta, you know, I'm not putting the blame on Berta. I think a lot of it is that his hands is tied. And then the narrative is that, and everybody is pointing the finger at Berta, because they said if Arteta wants his man, then Arsenal need to back him.
That's the problem, and they haven't. On this occasion, Kenny, are we showing a lack of ambition by letting Chelsea snatch him from us? Because now the narratives is like we've won the Premier League and we're moving like a top 10 team, or we're moving like a. Is it pride that's been hurt by not getting Rodgers, or was this deal not sitting quite right with Arsenal?
Well, first and foremost, Arsenal showing a lack of ambition in anything. I mean, Rodgers has had 2 great seasons with Aston Villa. Sorry, and I don't know what planet some of our fans think we're on. If Arsenal are going for him, then Chelsea would be interested. So would Man United, all big clubs. You know, Liverpool will be interested. You know, Bayern Munich will want to have a look. You know, Barcelona will have a look. You know, you're not in a club of one when you go for players. You know, don't believe the hype. There's nothing wrong with, you know, taking in whatever the Knowles say about the thing and say about, you know, negotiations were well advanced. Yeah, probably they were. But he would renegotiate with Chelsea. He would look at loads of things for a start. He had a look at what happened with Ezra when he got in the team. Did Ezra hit the ground running? Was he allowed to hit the ground running? No. Was Ezra's career at Arsenal stop and start? Was Ezra at risk of not going to the World Cup? 100%. 100%. You know, the situation is that he preferred Chelsea.
Take care, guys. Take care.
Big up, Norms. Make sure you go and
sub me on. Big up. We need to do another one. We need to do another one. The legend is Kenny Kane. The legend.
Yeah, big up.
Okay, bless up, people.
Big up, Norms. Big up to Norms.
150. Let me tell you something now. He chose Chelsea because he wanted to go to Chelsea.
Yeah.
He for a start, he'd been sure of first team football. 2, the package would have been more attractive. 2, he's playing in a younger team. And by the way, Joey Alonso is not a crap coach. He's one of the top coaches in Europe. So of course he's going to go for those reasons. The guy just merely preferred Chelsea. That's all it is. There's no nuances. There's no Arsenal lack of ambition. We were in for him. Arteta displayed an interest, but he decided to go elsewhere. It happens in football. Just like Liverpool thought they were getting Zubimendi, but Zubimendi preferred Arsenal.
Yeah,
that's what happens in football. You know, Eden Hazard. We tracked Eden Hazard for a good 2 years, Arsene Wenger, and then Chelsea put in interest. Man United put in interest. He decided to go to Chelsea, the European champions in 2012. That's what football's about. You can track a player till you're blue in the face. But if another club comes with him and presents him with a different package that is more to his liking, you get him. Another thing as well, what Arsenal fans need to realise, there's a lot of people who've got this misconception that we've got this £800 million and that this £800 million is going to go on players. I'm sorry, but Arsenal were the club that pushed for FFP, PSR, whatever you want to call it. Arsene Wenger was always talking about that. Arsenal were the pioneers of PSR. So if they seriously think that they're going to have a summer of spending money off the scale like they did last season and not have a summer where they've got to get these bodies out before they get players in, they're mistaken. They're mistaken. Arsenal have to sell players and trim the squad to get the players you want.
Keep saying it, Kenny.
You know, to get the lad from the lad from Bruges, you had to get Trossard out the door. Mm-hmm. To get someone who's going to be as good, who's going to be a little bit better than the Greek lad, you've got to consider Officer Martinelli. You're talking about getting Rodgers in, Gimenez in, when you still got Zubimendi, you still got Martin Odegaard, you still got Eza.
Yeah,
I mean, come on, someone's going to have to go. So you've got to remember one thing: we'll have to get players, move players on, as well as get them out. So if you guys want Arsenal to carry on, you know, competing for trophies and winning them occasionally, then you've got to be able to move players on in order to get the players you really need. That's football. You know, the way some of our fans are going on, you would have thought we won the league in 25 and 24 as well as 26. That because these guys support Arsenal, or they're going to want to come to Arsenal. Everyone wants to play for Mikel Arteta, so we're going to get the player. It doesn't work like that. Mm-hmm. It doesn't work like that. It's all about the package. It's all about the fact that player preference, real player preference, and it's all about balancing the books. Arsenal is a business. Doesn't matter whether you're getting all this money from merchandise and prize money. You still have to balance the books.
100%.
Newcastle got 10 times the money we have, but they can't spend it because they haven't balanced the books because PSR won't let them do it. So they're having to sell players, and then they've got to start again.
Exactly.
Because they're not making, you know, the revenue in order for them to spend the big money, and also, most importantly, they haven't balanced the books. Aston Villa, who've had a fantastic season, won the Europa League, they're able to sell players because at the end of the day, their players know there's only a certain level Aston Villa can get to. Aston Villa know they've got to balance the books and work within their own economic parameters. So it's a situation where it's happened to everyone. Liverpool are not going to be spending astronomical amounts of money because they spent astronomical amounts of money last year.
Exactly.
Then they make players out. It affects every club. Man United are a mess because they thought that they could bypass the PSR rules, and then they got Slim Jim's come there. You know, Slim Jim, who likes doing marathons at the age of 70, he says, is having to balance the books and they don't like it.
Yeah, exactly. And not only that, with Rodgers, he might just prefer the way Alonso plays. He might not have fancied himself under Arteta. Yeah. Not have fancied himself, and he wanted game time at Chelsea. He probably thinks, well, I've got a better chance of playing at Chelsea. The only thing that gets me is I don't want to get in this war about, we're not acting like a big club. We've been outbidded, and Chelsea have come in, and because they're not got Champions League football. Aston Villa have, Arsenal have. So it's obviously not that. it's obviously what wages he can get. It's where he sees himself in 2-3 years' time under Alonso rather than Arteta. Who knows? Perhaps he's thinking, well, perhaps Arteta ain't going to be here in 2 years' time, and I'll be looking at another manager under Arsenal. So it's all these factors when players decide to go to a club. But look, I'm not losing sleep over the Rodgers deal. But what I'm concerned about, I'm not losing sleep. As you said, Kenny, he's had 2 good seasons at Aston Villa. He ain't a world beater. 117, 118 million's a lot of money. Rodgers 2 seasons ago.
That's all he is. It's like his potential.
Yeah, I would have bit your hand off a season if we'd have been in this situation last season. Then I'd have said, yeah, you know, I want Rodgers, and I did want Rodgers. 100%, I wanted Rodgers, but not for 117 million.
You got to remember one thing, right? Is that when we talk about these sort of figures, you got to remember it is the going rate.
Yeah,
it's the going rate, and whether our football fans like it or not, you know, we're going to see a situation where, who knows, in the next 2 years of year, you'll see a player go for £200 million.
Oh, easy.
You wouldn't think anything, and it become the norm.
That's around the corner. That's around the corner, Ken.
You're around the corner, and it be an English club who will spend that money.
Oh,
because that English club has probably gone another year without winning the Champions League, and then we're already on getting towards £500,000 a week. I mean, Haaland's basic isn't half. Haaland's salary with bonuses and all sort of inducements is about 750 grand a week, but his actual salary is 300 grand a week.
Yeah,
but we're going to get a situation we're going to have the first £500,000 player a week, and it'll be a Premiership club spending that to be able to do that. Real Madrid and Barcelona will catch up because the Spanish FA have removed the constraint from them, but it's happening.
Yeah. Big up, Darren. 150, 200 will be the new. Yeah, 100%.
You're talking about the World Cup having more teams. Yes. Yeah. The reason why we're having more sites, more countries in the World Cup, because of money. The more games we play, the more TV will have to pay for the football. And the more TV plays, the more you'll find that the players' salaries will go up.
Yeah.
Whenever more money goes to the sport, the goose that laid the golden egg will get their money first. The players.
100%. Big up, Paul. League judges ain't happy about it. Well, the problem is respect the league judges, but the problem is it's like a lot of Arsenal fans. What it is, they get their pride hurt. It's not about the player half the time. It's about, Arsenal have got this divine right to sell buy everything that moves. We're Arsenal Football Club. What is it you're not coming to our club for? Why are you going to Chelsea? So a little bit of pride gets hurt. But really, when you look at it, as Kenny said, the player's choice was Chelsea, and that happens. Wirtz's choice was Liverpool. Gyökeres's choice was Arsenal. When it doesn't happen, there's 101 reasons why it don't happen. We haven't got a divine right to sign anyone. Doesn't matter if we've won the Premier League. We haven't got if the face don't fit, or they look at the manager and the style of play and they go, actually, I'm not going to thrive in a defensive unit, because let's face it. I've shown you the stats on here in previous times, Kenny, Chat, and everyone else. Our attacking third, the stats in our attacking third is woeful. Now, if players are looking at those stats and thinking, hang on a minute, I don't want to go to a football team where I'm having to do my defensive duties and then getting benched if I don't do it. I want to go to a manager where I can show what I can do. So that's fact. So, look, I understand Arsenal fans are going to be upset, but it's the facts of life.
Can you imagine the excitement he's got, right? He's going to go to a young team, right? He's going to go, he's got a situation where if Alonso actually uses his tactical brain, he'll play a midfield three of him, Enzo Fernandez, Caicedo. That's going to kick on. That's going to kick things. He'll say to Cole Palmer, "I'll play you. You're going to play in the front three or not at all."
Yeah.
And it'll soon, he'll soon say to what's his name? What's it? Liam Delap. You sort of say, "Off you go, mate. You're
off you go, yeah.
level
100%.
100%.
Big up to the
I'm not too funny, right? Sorry, Chelsea fans. I don't want to insult you, but Liam Delap's pony, isn't he?
Yeah, he's terrible. No, he's terrible. He's terrible. I mean, they have wasted a lot of money, Chelsea, over the years, but then they've reaped a lot of money back. I mean, their selling is much better than ours. But big up everyone that's raided over. Big up people.
He was trying to get Granit Xhaka to join at Chelsea, Alonso.
Yeah, exactly. But look, I understand who is better that we can get. Another thing though, right? We haven't got Rodgers. That's fair enough. Another player that we're linked to on a free. Here we go again.
Well, you haven't said it yet.
Is Mr. Stones, Kenny? John Stones.
John Stones is
bearing in mind.
Let's talk about his attributes. Let's talk about
bearing in mind Saliba, in my book, he's going to be out for most of the season.
Yeah.
In fact, it wouldn't surprise me if Saliba doesn't touch grass all season. He's got a serious back injury that needs major surgery, and he's got a real strict regime.
All right, let me tell you about John Stones, right?
Are you first of all, Kenny? Hang on, before you come in with your brilliant your assessment on John Stones. Would you be happy or disappointed if we got him on a season loan, on a season's deal, free?
I think bloody hell, if I'll be more than happy to have John Stones, because the other day, you got to remember one thing: we're a defensive side.
Yeah,
and Mikel likes players who are good on the ball, whether people whether Arsenal fans like it or not. And you know what I don't like about modern football fans is disrespect for players, calling them washed, or what's that other word? A scrub. I'll tell you one thing, mate. I would love to. Players people call these players that. I love to play against them on the Market Road, on the Market Road. I love to have played them against them on the, on the fields of St. Levis's football fields, or
big up Tatley.
I love to play them against them on Hackney Marshes. I love to have tackled those guys, man. The way they talk about players and they disrespect their careers, I would love to have played against them. But let's talk about John Stones. Multiple Premier League winner, multiple FA Cup winner, Champions League winner, and over 80 caps for his country, and excellent on the ball.
Yeah,
I rest my case.
That's all you need,
and Mick Arteta knows him.
Yeah.
That's my case.
Yeah. I think he would fit in along someone like Gabriel all day long. And Gabriel needs someone. See, the thing is, when you look at Gabriel, he has his, people say, he has his bozo moments and all that. He is highly strung defender. Yeah, he's very aggressive. He's highly strung. Wears his heart on his sleeve. My best Arsenal player last season by a long shot. But he needs someone when he's got Saliba alongside him, he feels more comfortable. Saliba's like the kind of calming defender. And I think Stones alongside Gabriel would give him that kind of balance. It's either that or we're having to go Calafiori. And he's all over the place. Calafiori and Gabriel scares me to death.
But
Calafiori will go wandering off and Gabriel will...
I think the thing about Gabriel, and I'm glad you mentioned it. I'm going to be honest with you. A lot of people say that certain players for England were disappointing, and certain players were really disappointing. I'll tell you one thing: Gabriel defended like a wally.
Oh, he was shocking.
He was a wally for Morocco's goal. Both the goals against Norway, where Brazil went out, it was a wally.
Haaland, he completely lost him.
Yeah, it was Norway. A wally for the first goal, and he was even a bigger wally because he didn't organise that. He didn't stop that shot coming in. Yeah, it's not good to rely on someone else. You go and do it. You knew what was happening. You go and affect the game. Two of you should have gone out. It was a wally. Yeah, and one thing but when he's at Arsenal, he's a fantastic player. And he's a fantastic defender. One thing about Gabriel Magalhaes, awful on the ball.
Yeah.
And I think his world-class performances keep him in the team. But if he ever a situation where he drops off by a small percentage, you'll be out of the team because he's not good on the ball.
Yeah. No, exactly. And I'd like Stones. I'd like Stones if we can get him. If it happens, it happens. You know, he's one of them players that I think would bring experience, and he would bring a little bit of stability, I suppose. And he'd slot straight in. Arteta would like that. So yeah, big up Shane. Talk of Saliba even getting surgery. DJ, this manager's a lunatic. Look. Is he going to get surgery?
He should.
A lot of assessments going. He's got to. If he's got,
he should. It's his career.
Of course, it is 100%.
You know what? Another thing I want to sort of address as well regarding the World Cup. Tuchel didn't injure Saka and Rice, and Deschamps didn't injure Saliba. They went there injured because of the
December. Kenny, apparently Saliba's been struggling with his back since December. Apparently.
But you got to remember, we're in an age, right? Jose Mourinho is showing the modern manager the way where if you want to play in the big games, you got to put your body in the line. Let's not forget what Jurgen Klopp said about Daniel Sturridge. He doesn't know what real pain's about because I bet your bottom dollar, Daniel Sturridge wouldn't play unless he was fully fit. There was a situation with Dennis Bergkamp, the master Dennis Bergkamp. Towards the end of there was a periods where he wouldn't play if he wasn't fully fit. He could have played, but he wouldn't have played if fully fit. That's a fact. That's well documented. He had the right manager in Arsene Wenger who believed in red zones and green zones. The problem is not every coach is like Arsene Wenger.
No.
Mick Arteta, I don't blame him because Mourinho does it, Klopp does it. Two managers he would have looked up to always get players to give him their all to the cause. Mikel Arteta is a passionate man. He comes across as a passionate man. To tell you bottom dollar, he'd have been Saka. Come on, I know. I just need that little bit. And look at the rewards you're going to get. He'll be saying that to Saliba. He'll be saying that to Declan. Modern managers want players to put their bodies on the line, and they'll get their favourite doctor, their favourite physio to tell them what they want to hear.
Yeah, absolutely. It's shocking, really, and we've got more of this to come next season. But I mean, Kenny, a couple of other things I've got to ask you while you're on here, my friend. Are we going into next year? Bearing in mind it's literally round the corner. I think it's 5 weeks. I think, and we play Coventry on the Friday, opening game of the season. Then we've got a tricky. Then we've got, I think it's then away game to Aston Villa, Chelsea at home.
Aston Villa minus their two of their best players.
Yeah, Tielemans
minus Tielemans and Rodgers. But you know what will happen. You know, Emery will get a gem somewhere.
Exactly. I mean, are you a little bit worried? Because look, I said to Matty the other day, I'd be more excited if I hear players going out the door. I want Martinelli gone. I want Odegaard gone. Jesus gone. Havertz, I wouldn't lose sleep if we lost him. Norgard off the books. All of these men. If we get rid of 3 of them, for me that'd be like a signing. I don't think that's going to happen. I think Odegaard's staying. I think we're going to have Havertz again. I think we're going to have Martinelli as our main winger on the left. I don't think we're going to get all these players in. Are we going into next season unprepared? Are you worried we're going to do a Liverpool next year?
Look, I think what's happening is that we let's face it, we're the hunted now. So regardless if you had the best players or not, we're hunted. And teams are reacting to the fact we won the league. Teams are spending big money like Tottenham because they feel they need to bridge the gap between, them and us or them, who you want to call it. Liverpool have got a new manager in. So it was always going to be difficult. With the exception of Man City and Chelsea and Mourinho, no teams retained the Premier League because it's a bloody hard league to win. Yeah. So we should go in there with a bit of confidence, but also caution, because teams are going to raise their game against us. There's going to be no easy games.
None.
Right? Teams the first thing teams are going to try and do, they're trying to get themselves into a way where they're going to play and make sure they're fit for 90 minutes or above. Because one of the things that we did get, what teams struggled against us with, was our fitness. Teams are going to want to match that as well as the football. So am I worried going in? I worry all the time.
Yeah.
Because despite the fact that we won the league, we won it because ultimately we stayed with the system. We won more games than everyone else. We conceded less goals than everyone else. But was it a pleasure to watch? No.
No, it was terrible.
Stressful, yes.
It was terrible.
Did we run away with it? No, we didn't. So every season, I always worry about us because I'm still not convinced.
But what about this season? I mean, Rice, over 5,000 odd minutes coming off of a World Cup. I don't think he should be playing until at least middle of October.
He won't. But
Saka, we're concerned about. You know,
the thing about it,
we all know about.
One thing you can't take away from Arsenal, regardless of what you think of our start, we will be difficult to beat. Now, and that's one of the things that you can't take away from us. We'll still play with that system. We'll still be good off the ball. We'll still be difficult to overload. Whether we can take our chances, it's going to be difficult. Kettle of fish. Coventry will come at us, but they'll find it difficult to beat us. Aston Villa will 100% find it difficult to beat us. They may beat us if they
Chelsea
get right.
Alonso, his first big game very early in the season.
At the Emirates will be difficult to beat. So you may be worried about, the opposition, but you don't be surprised if we first 3 games we get 6 or 7 points, because we are hard to beat.
Yeah,
we're hard to break down. Yeah, the football's crap, and we're not placing on the eye.
We've got to have more about our attack, though, Kenny. Next season,
I'm convinced when you look at the first 5 games before the international break, 15 games. I wouldn't be surprised if we get 11 or 12 points.
Yeah.
On the basis we're hard to beat.
Cheers, David, man.
You know what I mean? We are very hard to beat. That's one thing you can't take away from us.
Yeah. Yeah. I just want us to be a little bit. I just need. Look, we've got to get 1 or 2 signings in. I mean, I'm not. I don't know about this Solis. I don't know too much about him. He could hit the ground running. He could be a gem. You get him every now and again. I just don't see big names coming, Kenny. I don't think we've got that much money, as you said.
Yeah, and that reason was another thing as well. The manager might be happy with what he's got.
Big upsetting. Yeah,
he might feel that that Eza's enough, Duamendi's enough, Aaron Rice is enough. He might still want to have Odegaard. I'm not convinced he's happy with Martinelli. I think the area he wants to improve is be a left wing. I think he'll want to get another striker in. I can tell you categorically, using the 2 eyes that I was born with, that he's not happy with Gyökeres.
Oh no, I don't think he's.
Another thing as well. I think with Gyökeres, I think the statistics are a lie. He's got 21 league and cup goals, but it's not elite. He won elite. He wasn't a regular goal scorer. What he did is that he scored goals in bunches, but his performances didn't get me off my seat. There's still a lot to his game that is not the level of Arsenal Football Club, and I'm not the only one who's saying it.
No, I'm saying it as well. His anticipation.
If you're a goal scorer, you score goals at a top level, regardless of what the manager thinks of you and what your ability may be or may not be, you'll still score goals. Because at the end of the day, that's what you're good at. But moving forward, the modern manager is going to want a bit more from Victor.
Yeah,
Victor would not get in. Victor would not get into Man City's team. He will not get into Real Madrid's team. He won't get into Bayern Munich's team. He won't get into PSG's team, and he certainly won't get into Barcelona's team. But the way our fans talk about Victor, you'd think he would.
Yeah.
He's not good enough to play for Arsenal, but he'll get by because at the end of the day, we will create a lot of chances. We will dominate games. more games than we would have less possession. So he will score goals because a goal scorer will score goals. But whether he's that player to take us to another level, I don't think so. Now, if you were to ask me who's the better player or Alvarez, 100% Alvarez. If you were to ask me now, would I take Alvarez over him? 100%. Would I still take Šeško over him? Yeah. But that's my personal preference. That's what I prefer. Doesn't mean I'm right. Doesn't mean that he's better. But the way Arsenal play, I'll prefer Šeško over him.
Yeah. Yeah. No, I mean, look, he has to improve. He has to improve his all-round game for me, Gyökeres. He has to improve his hold-up play. He has to improve his touch. He has to improve his anticipation. He has to. And it's all right saying he never got the service. Okay, there is a little bit of that to it, but he's got to be a striker that brings more to the party. I'm still worried about next season. I think we are a little bit unprepared. I think a lot of players showed a dip in form last season. We hobbled over the line. I still don't think Odegaard's the answer as captain and number 10. I think Eze as well. He can't keep showing up when the sun shines against Spurs. He has to show up in big games every game, so he's a worry for me. And we still need players in the door. But players have got to go out the door, and this is where Berta's got to do his work. We've got to get rid of these players, but we've got players on high wages. We've got players that have had injuries. We're not going to be able to get them out, but we'll see.
I'll just ask you a question. One thing I want to say about Šeško, what did Gyökeres do in a big game against Holland in the World Cup? What did he do in a big game against France? Because you lot think he's elite.
Yeah.
Yeah, he scored. He scored against, was it Tunisia? All right, against the top teams where his country needed him. He's all right scoring goals against Poland, where Sweden were basically giving the keys to the touch shop.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? You know what I mean? You know what I mean? Sweden got to World Cup where basically I've left you the keys to the tuck shop and you've gone and filled your boots. That's how they got to the World Cup.
Yeah. And the bottom line is, Kenny, sorry to interrupt you, we've always said it. Champions League final, and he don't play Gyökeres, he don't play Eze, and he don't play Zubimendi.
He doesn't rate him. He doesn't rate him.
I personally think he doesn't rate the forward. I personally think he doesn't. And
he doesn't rate him.
And it shows in Gyökeres' confidence in a lot of games. He lacks a lot of confidence.
Yeah.
You see him live.
But the fact is that sometimes you can kick Mikel in the balls with a cement foot. There's no doubt about that. But the whole thing about Gyökeres is that when the people tell me he's not playing well because this didn't happen, this happened, maybe he's not good enough. You know?
Yeah.
Maybe, just maybe. And the fact is, the manager agrees with me. And I'm not bigging up Arteta and say he's the greatest thing and not that, but come on. I was astounded that we got him last year. I mean, there's no way this manager wanted him. And he shows.
And from
a footballing point of view, I don't rate him. He's not good enough. But I don't like the way the manager's treating him. But he's not elite. He's not elite, mate. Anyone who thinks he's elite is dreaming.
Yeah.
Calling him elite is like you're comparing them, but Thierry Henry's elite.
Yeah.
Mbappe's elite. Haaland's elite.
Ian Rush.
Ibrahimovic is elite.
Ibra. Yeah. He's not in that bracket.
You're comparing that thing with those guys. Do me a favour.
Yeah. Elite's a big word in football because you reel off the tongue who is elite and you go, well, hang on a minute. No, he's not.
Come on. He's not elite.
Yeah. And Saka's not well classed, otherwise he plays in semi-finals.
I never thought Aubameyang was elite, but Aubameyang's level's above that.
Yeah. 100%. I've started a few here. Do you think Rashford is an option?
Someone's going to go for him. I think what's happened is that he's still a fantastic player. He's still he's still technically and individually better than Gordon. Gordon's more of a coach player, and Gordon can be more effective because he's more direct and he's got a better mentality, I think, to do better. I think Rashford is more naturally gifted, but he thinks it comes easier. He wouldn't as well, but anyone who doesn't go for Rashford is a fool.
Yeah. Yeah, well, exactly. I think so as well. I think so.
Whether it's Arsenal or not, Rashford, if Rashford we tapped up by a big club, trust me, if Man United don't want him, they're fools, because I still think he could do a job there. But if Man United don't want him, and there's no way he's going to be like Sterling sitting on 300 grand a week without playing. Trust me. There's no way he'd be sitting on that amount of money.
Yeah, no, I agree. Yeah, I mean, that left-hand side is something we need to address. And in my book, the right back as well. I think Timber's injury-prone. Ben White's not good enough backup.
I think Darren asked a question about Arteta's not going to win every battle. Arteta's not going to win every battle, mate. Trust me, he lost that battle for Gyökeres. Blatantly lost that battle.
Completely. Yeah.
Blatantly.
He lost Rodgers as well because he wanted him and Berta's on that.
I'll tell you one thing. How many times if you rate the player that highly, how many times does an elite player get taken off after 60 minutes? I mean, how many elite players get taken off after 60 minutes on a regular basis?
Yeah. Yeah. Well, we got that with the captain at the moment. I mean, the captain. I mean,
I'm just talking about, because we're having a debate about whether Gyökeres is elite, and I'm saying now, if he was elite, why wasn't he starting in the Champions League final? Why was he Why was he the first person to be taken off after 60 minutes, even when Havertz was out injured?
Yeah, yeah. Don't want Rashford too inconsistent. Yeah, I see where you're coming from, Sully. We need someone on that left hand side. I don't know.
I think we're feeling Rashford, right? He'll go abroad and he'll smash it, because he'll smash it. But I think if I was at Rashford, don't go Italy. Just don't. I beg you, don't go Italy, because Italian football is not the level as it was before. Italian football is a step. How do I say it?
It is at the moment. It is at the moment. But I think I think they'll pull it around now. Hopefully, because they're under 17.
They've got a lot of catching up to do, because there's a reason why they haven't qualified for the last 3 World Cups.
Yeah, I mean,
how they won the Euro 2020, I'll never know.
No. I'd have Gyökeres over the dog. Yeah, I would see. I would. Look.
But the problem is the manager won't.
No, this is it. It's what is and Havertz.
And when Gyökeres plays poorly and doesn't get in the game, I can't go up and I can't defend that. On the whole, Gyökeres, his stats be impressive for a first season. I think it's a very good effort, but long term, I've got concerns of whether he'll be the player that we need him to be.
Yeah,
a lot of it is, maybe if he got another manager, maybe he got an Alonso and a different manager, I might change my mind. But on the basis of what I've seen, I'm not convinced by Victor. I really ain't convinced by him.
Well, hopefully, Kenny, he might.
No, you know what? You know what I think? I think we should still try and get a Yuri Alvarez in anyway, even if Victor was playing well or not. We still need that kind of player. Do I think he'll score 30 or 35 goals in
no, not in the Premier League. No,
I don't think he'll do it in the Premier League, but I think he'll probably do it where he came from in Portugal, and he may do it in France.
Yeah.
He may do, but
not in the Premier League under a different manager. No.
I'm not sure he'll do it in Germany either. I don't think he'll do it in Germany either.
No,
and that's a strong league. But I think he might score goals in France.
Yeah.
But the Premier League,
R.I.P. Kevin Keegan. He was elite and sadly missed. Yeah, Andy, we done it right at the start of the show. For all those that joined us, we done a thing on Kevin Keegan. That was my opening before we went into the World Cup. Before we discussed Arsenal, my first line was Kevin Keegan. So if you look at the playback, Kevin Keegan, absolute legend. You know, European Player of the Year twice. Moved to Hamburg. Great achievements with Liverpool and everywhere he went. Fantastic. It's a very, very sad. It's very, very sad. Big loss to football. True gent as well. But big up to everyone that's put in RIPs for Kevin Keegan. There's another one here as well. Big up Aussie Ange. To Kevin Keegan. Very sad what happened to him. I met him a couple of times. What a great guy. Yeah, 100%. 100%. And as Kenny said right at the start, he was the first real superstar in English football. He was like your David Beckham.
I'll tell you one thing about Kevin Keegan. The biggest compliment I can make to him, he was a better player than David Beckham.
Oh, 100%.
He was the only player that was close to Kevin Keegan during that time was probably Brian Robson.
Yeah.
But Brian Robson was less starry than Kevin Keegan. But Kevin Keegan paved the way for footballers to earn better money.
Yeah. Because
of the fact that, and he, you know, in terms of like the commercial aspect, he paved the way for that as well. Because I think what was happening is that TV weren't paying football or paying football clubs very, very stingy and poorly. And basically what was happening is that footballers had to do a lot of off-field stuff in order to earn big money. And I think Kevin Keegan opened the door for that. So, you know, when you saw like the family shoot on a match weekly, or families do TV programs, Kevin Keegan opened the door for that.
Oh, 100%. 100%. He was on a program, Superstars. He was everywhere.
And you think about English players going abroad and earning money, and he put, you know, because of Kevin Keegan's success at Hamburg, a lot of foreign clubs were looking at our players.
Yeah,
big up. He opened the door for that. But yeah, Kevin Keegan was the first superstar, and if he was around in the 90s, there'll be no Posh and Becks. You know what I mean?
No. And he 150 million. I mean, 150 million. I don't think he got the respect for it. I don't think he got when he did it on Europe in Hamburg. But yeah, Nico, unfortunately, I know you probably, whether you've been working or you've not heard the news, unfortunately, Kevin Keegan lost his battle with prostate cancer, and it got him, and it took him from us, and be sorely missed. I think you got to remember, Kenny Dalglish has made an announcement that he's got prostate cancer. Now, we don't know what the situation is, but you always worry when a celebrity makes an announcement they've got cancer. You always worry that they're letting you know because they're on their last legs. Yeah, exactly.
Kenny Dalglish is in my prayers as well, but I've never known a celebrity let the nation know they're suffering from the big C. Only when it's at the early stages, 9 out of 10 times, they would like to keep it private. I think the reason why we found that Kevin Keegan was had the big C because he was told that there wasn't long left.
Yeah, shame, sad.
And they wanted to have his privacy. So I just hope with Kenny Dalglish that it is early stages and it's treatable for him.
Yeah, so do I, 100%. Big up, Darren, as always, mate. Thank you for all your contributions this stream. It's been brilliant. He was good in the air. He was good in the air. He's all round, and he was a feisty. He was strong as well. He could mix it. Yeah, you know, he's good. He had good balance, really good balance. 2 feet, brilliant. R.I.P. Kevin Keegan. I remember him when he was a kid here in Sweden. Yeah, he was global. He was global. I'm not a big fan of Marino. Squad player at best. Look, Martin, I think Marino as a squad player is ideal. Kenny,
I think Mikel Arteta does like someone like some players like Marino because he knows that he'll go to war with him and that he will play positions Like he'll play midfield, he'll try him, on the, inverted forward anywhere the pitch, and he will score goals. We didn't really need him towards the end of the league, but you always thought that Champions League final, if he was fully fit, when we were struggling. The problem is that even if we had a fully fit squad, PSG were always winning that game because they're just better team than us, and that's no disgrace. That's better.
Yeah. Yeah, but we made it real. It was similar to Argentina, England, and Argentina. We did make it very easy for them in the end.
Yeah, but the thing is that I always say with teams like Argentina and PSG, if England went toe to toe with Argentina would have won that game. Argentina believed that they're better. The only team that Argentina thought was better than them was the team they played in the final. They knew they couldn't beat Spain playing football, so they didn't.
No.
It's sometimes in football, what was the difference? What did Argentina do different than Arsenal? And we had our final with PSG in Budapest. Argentina had their final with Spain in New York. What was the difference? We defended on our gut. We defended just as stoutly as Argentina did. All we did differently from Argentina is we scored early. After that, we defended. Can't deny it, can you?
No. I mean, yeah.
You're talking about the game against Italy in '77, the header.
Yeah, I think he is that header at Wembley. Yeah,
'77.
What an header! Yeah, him and Trevor Brooking had a brilliant partnership.
So, you know something. Obviously, you're more local than me around the area, but Trevor Brooking was picked when he played in the second division for England. He was still getting picked for England.
Yeah, Trevor Brooking, again, one of the most underrated players of all time. Trevor Brooking was a brilliant player. Brilliant player. If Trevor Brooking's like the Matt Letizia, if Trevor Brooking had been at a massive club, everyone would be up there with the greats.
That's the thing with Trevor Brooking is that
he had no pace, but his brain and his vision was brilliant.
I say it with a heavy heart. But Trevor Brooking was treated with a lot more respect than Bobby Moore. He got the knighthood. He was invited.
Yeah.
Now, I still say it. I know this isn't a Bobby Moore program, and I've already touched on this on my Instagram. I'll ask you because you're from you grew up around the area. There's something the public haven't been told about Bobby Moore because West Ham don't ignore Bobby Moore without a good reason. England do not ignore Bobby Moore without a good reason. Bobby Moore wasn't even knighted without a good reason. So there's something the British public haven't been told about Bobby Moore. And there's something Bobby Moore did that was so heinous because no legend like that gets ignored by the club he represented with distinction and the country represented with distinction. You don't ignore someone like that, but someone like Trevor Brooking, who was born down the road from him in Barking, gets the recognition, gets the TV deals, gets the job with the FA, gets a knighthood. Someone please tell me what Bobby Moore done.
Do you know what? To this day, I really don't know. I don't know whether it was his face. I mean, he was quietly a bit of a wassit, Bobby Moore. He did like the party life.
Is it because he left his wife? Is it because of the
place? He had an affair, didn't he? That didn't go down too well back then.
But how can you ignore someone? How can someone?
I don't know. I don't know what it was. Like that.
Do you remember World Cup 1986, World Cup 1990? Trevor Brooking was the co-commentator and he was in the studios. Bobby Moore never got offered any of those jobs. He was never on a panel program, Bobby Moore.
No, I mean, who knows? That's never come out. But during them days when they was all clubbing and all that, and young ladies getting the clubs,
if I could speak to someone at West Ham, and I could speak to someone at the FA,
you get dumped for shoplifting.
I want someone to be able to tell me why Trevor Brooking was treated like royalty, yet Bobby Moore was treated like someone that put his 2 hands in the food rather than using
it's like that question: why did Brian Clough why did one of the greatest English managers never manage England with Brian Clough? Wasn't it? I mean, got caught stealing in the World Cup in 1970 scandal.
So he nicked the bracelet then, Paul. He nicked the bracelet then. He nicked the bracelet. Well, Paul, he nicked the bracelet because he nicked the bracelet.
Yeah. Chat. To be fair, is Bobby. Who the fuck is Bobby Moore? Come on, man.
Oh, right. He's joking. He knows who Bobby Moore is. Mafia boss.
Yeah, if you don't know who Bobby Moore is, you ain't been living.
No, mate.
Yeah.
Trust
Bobby
me.
may not have wanted to be part of the establishment.
It doesn't work like that, mate.
I don't know, Darren. It's a weird one, isn't it? It's a weird one because Trevor Brooking came. Yeah.
Nah, mate. Something smells, man. I'm sorry. Something stinks.
Yeah. I'll have to do some research
because there's no way. Because let me tell you something now. England's biggest icon should be Bobby Moore on the basis that he's still England's best ever defender.
Oh yeah.
And for me, he's still England's greatest ever international.
Yeah.
Yet he gets no recognition. Billy Wright, who was the Bobby Moore before him, gets recognition. He gets nothing.
Yeah, he's a weird one. It is a weird one, mate. I'll be honest with you, Kenny. It's something that I've never really got my head round.
Neither me.
The recognition.
Big
up Andy Hart, my friend. Still can't get my head round this Tuchel. Didn't give Saka any minutes against Argentina, then starts him against France, and he gets 3 goals. Explain it.
Well, he said he spent all tournaments.
Big up to you, Andy.
He spent all tournaments saying that Saka wasn't fully fit, and to be honest, we saw him at Arsenal, and we thought he wasn't fully fit. So Tuchel was right. However, when you're in a massive game against Argentina, where it is the be all and end all everything, as much as you've got a hunchback Rodgers, and he did a really good job because he was involved in England's goal for Gordon. The fact is that if you think that Gordon ran his race and you wanted to play in the World Cup final, you should have brought Rashford on, because he was going to bring Rashford on before Gordon scored. You should have stuck your guns and brought Rashford on, and you should have put Saka on, because whether you like it or not, football, there's ways to win a football match and there's not ways to win a football match. But the way not to win a football match is to kick the ball long diagonally to Saka and Rashford and get them in the game. It's not beautiful to watch, but it's an option.
Exactly. For me, Kenny, there was 101 options. For an experienced manager like Tuchel, I cannot excuse his tactics in that semi-final, and I can't be convinced any other way. But you know what? You know what? It wrong. It ain't hurt him as much as it hurt as us Englishmen, because for him it's a job. And I'm sorry.
I hear you. But the problem is, right,
unexcusable for me.
Yeah, whether we like it or not, there are no decent English managers. No English manager is getting the big job with the top 6.
No, I agree. I agree with that. I agree with that, Kenny. But no English manager. I'm sorry. If you'd have had Eddie Howe there, he wouldn't have
Eddie Howe. Eddie Howe's not managing a top.
I'm just using that as an example.
I know it is, but if you could have Eddie Howe, if Eddie Howe wanted to manage England, he would have got a job. Be honest, done what Lee Carsley done.
Yeah, I listen.
You know who should have got the job? Lee Carsley, but he talked himself out of it.
Yeah, he did. He did talk himself out of it. But look, at the end of the day, I don't care what manager was in charge. Those tactics that he done there was amateurish. Worse than amateurist. I mean, I've never seen it.
I agree with everything you said. But the thing is, right, is that when Man United was still deciding whether they wanted Michael Carrick, England panicked and gave him a 2-year contract. The fact is that Tuchel can redeem himself by winning the Nations League. I know everyone says, "Oh, the Nations League's not." No, sorry. England have to win Euro 2028. And the best way to do that is learn how to beat Spain in a major tournament. Now, you're going to say the Nations League at a major tournament. Well, Portugal take it seriously. Spain take it seriously. France take it seriously. And all of them have won it, by the way. And they took it seriously in order to win it. So Croatia. So England shouldn't look down the nose at anyone, because guess what? England haven't won anything for 60 years. So
we need to win something. We need to win something. We need to win something.
If England get to the final of the Nations League and they win it, they should bloody well celebrate it, because
absolutely
that could give them confidence going into the Euros. Because I found out that England have to qualify for the Euros.
Wow.
Well, they have to. All the four nations have to qualify for the Euros, because UEFA rules state you have to unless you're the host, i.e. the single host, you don't have to. You have to go to.
No, I think they do have to qualify. Yeah, they do, because it's Ireland, Wales, Scotland, and
there's too many teams. So if it was like
if it was solely England, then they probably wouldn't. But
I think in 2008, when it was Switzerland and Austria, then that wasn't an issue. It wasn't an issue. But I think with because there's 4 countries, and another thing as well, I think UEFA were more than happy for all of them to get to just go into the big pot for the tournament. But I think the other associations don't like it, because I think the other associations, especially the European associations, can't get a head around that Wales, Northern Ireland, England, and Scotland have got separate associations. Yet they all come. They're all the actual country and the territory is the UK. That when they play in the Olympics, they're the UK. When they the envoys, or whenever they have political conferences, it's not the Prime Minister of England, it's the Prime Minister of the UK. So the other European associations have always got the ump about all the votes that the separate countries have. But the problem is that a lot of the journalists across the world couldn't believe it that George Best couldn't play for England in the World Cup in 1970, because they said their reasoning was that George Best has got a UK passport, so he should be able to play for England.
That was never going to happen.
Yeah, I know.
Never going to happen. I watched Sky's tribute to Kevin Keegan earlier. They mentioned everything he did as a player and a manager without any mention of what he did at Fulham as a manager. This is curiously was not mentioned. Yeah, bizarre that.
He did a good job at Fulham.
I have to watch it. Great. He said Moore would identify the squad players when introducing them. Wow.
So
Gordon displacing Rafinha on the left wing at Barca was something I didn't see coming. No.
Can I just say? All right, I'm going to ask Darren a question.
Go on.
And Darren's not going to like.
He's an absolute legend, the Sully. He's at early in
all right. Darren, I'm going to ask you a question, because you're a little bit older than me, and Darren's definitely older than me. I'm going to ask you the question, right? Was Bobby Moore thick?
Yeah.
Was Bobby Moore thick? Because Darren just said something about mispronunciation of players and not being able. He suggested he can't articulate himself clearly. So was Bobby Moore thick?
Yeah.
Darren, help me out here.
In the centre back that tackle on Pele.
Pure calm. Basically, I was at work, right? I was at work about 20 years ago, and there was these guys who were a lot older than me, a lot of guys I respected, and they said that Bobby Moore had the same characteristics as Wayne Rooney.
Wow.
And it wasn't a compliment. It wasn't a compliment.
And
I'm not talking about him as a footballer. They're talking about his personality. And the way he comes across. Now,
all I know is everyone speaks highly of Bobby Moore. The Redknaps, everyone.
Yeah, but
as a person as well.
Yeah, they speak highly of Bobby Moore. Yet they've had more respect from West Ham United. They've had more respect right? They had more respect from the FA than he ever had. So again, was it snobbery, or was it something he did?
Yeah. Yeah.
It doesn't make sense.
I'd like to know exactly what he did, because you
can't ignore a legend like that. You just can't.
Accusation of shoplifting a bracelet in Bogota's prior to the 70 World Cup, although the charges were dropped and Moore was exonerated. The stigma of the arrest and the subsequent delay to all this. Yeah, see, it might have been something as trivial as that back in the day. Tournament arrival lingered in the minds of honours committees, likely stalling any potential nomination during the 70s.
Yeah, but the 80s and 90s, you know what I mean? I think another thing with Bobby Moore as well is that he did try to engineer a move to Spurs in 1970. He was, you know what I mean? Yeah. And I know before the 1966 World Cup, Bobby Moore was a sort of a stalemate at West Ham, where he nearly went out of contract. And in the 1960s, if you weren't weren't contracted to a professional football club, you couldn't play for England. So on the eve of the 1966 World Cup, there was a standoff between him and West Ham over his contract. He wouldn't sign a new contract. And in the end, they came to a compromise, and Bobby Moore was able to officially play in 1966 World Cup.
Yeah.
Could it be that?
You could have been that. Yeah, it could have been that. Could have been he engineered his contract at West Ham right on the deadline.
Do you remember in 1971, January 1971, where him, Jimmy Greaves, and a few players went out clubbing in Blackpool?
Yeah,
and they're all dropped from the game by Ron Greek. Was it that?
Could have been that.
Yeah,
could have been
I don't know.
Or was it? He was just a bit of a. He was just a bit of a lad, and they probably didn't see it as being a knighthood. Yet Trevor Brooking was a clean cut sort of,
No, mate. I'm sorry, mate. I'm not sorry, mate. But
nah.
You don't. That. Sorry, mate. This is something big, because
it'd be great to find out, wouldn't it? It'd be great. We'll have to delve into the archives. We'll have to delve in. I'll have to get my.
Why isn't anyone pushing? All right, he's dead. Why isn't anyone pushing to have that? Have a, what's that? Have a knighthood anyway, and recognition. Why is it that when he died, he got a statue outside Wembley and he got a stand up named after him?
Yeah.
Why? But big to get all of that.
Exactly. Not one top-tier English manager being available is criminal and not good for the future. Listen, we've had a problem. We've had a problem with English managers for quite some time now. Under current British law, knighthoods cannot be awarded posthumously, while exceptions have been made in rare cases.
In his case, with what he's done for football,
La Tournoi.
Oh, England won the La Tournoi, but I think the League of Nations is a bit bigger than that. But
yeah. Moore was but wasn't considered best in England during his.
Well, you know what, chat. I'm like. I don't know. I'm just asking questions, but one thing I would say though is that I'm not letting this go until my dying day. I want to find out why Bobby Moore was treated so badly. I'm going to delve in.
I'm going to make a few of my East End contacts.
We talk about legends. We just talked about Kevin Keegan.
Yeah,
and him losing his life, and in terms of like legendary status. Well, the biggest legend we ever had is Bobby Moore. And
Bobby Moore.
He
lifted the World Cup.
He did have a commercial manager. He was doing a few adverts here and there, but there was a situation where 10 years before he died, I used to always wonder why, whenever there's a major tournament, Bobby Moore was never given a puntry job. He was never a coach commentator. I always ask that question.
Yeah,
Duncan Edwards would have been the best player of all time.
100%. Yeah.
Listen,
more don't go ahead of Sir Stanley Matthews.
Of course he don't.
No.
But when you think about Bobby Moore and you think about when you talk about
big up Martin, thank you, my friend. As always, bless my friend.
Bless Martin. But when you talk about Bobby Moore, you talk about the art of defending, and you think about the fact that, you know, from 64 to 66, he captained West Ham to the 1964 FA Cup, the 1965 Cup Winners' Cup, and in 1966 he won the World Cup, and all the games were played at Wembley.
Yeah. I mean, he was.
It's hard to understand.
Probably one of the most iconic English football players of all time.
It's hard that I've just been watching.
Even Hurst got some. Look. Even Hurst gets a Sirs.
Yeah, it's a Bobby.
Crazy.
Yeah, but I'm looking at. That's true. He wasn't welcome at West Ham, and that I don't understand that. He was actually thrown out of West Ham because he didn't have a ticket.
The bonus World Cup to marry. Yeah, it's crazy.
But, you know, I'm watching a documentary about Diego Maradona.
Yeah,
we had people crying. You know, when Diego Maradona died, he's one of the biggest icons in Argentina. Pelé, the biggest icon in Brazil. Yeah. Bobby Moore was our Maradona and Pelé. Yet nothing.
Oh no, it's crazy. Absolutely crazy. It's hard to think about it, isn't it? Now we're on the back end of a World Cup and the World Cup's over. You know, if Harry Kane had lifted that World Cup, he would have gone down as one of the greatest ever.
You know what we should do, because I think in this country we should be more respectful. We should honour our sportsmen.
Oh, 100%.
Especially when it comes
I don't think Harry Kane gets the recognition. Harry Kane has been absolutely phenomenal.
We rarely win the Cricket World Cup. We rarely win the Rugby World Cup.
No,
we've only won the Rugby World Cup once. We've only won the Football World Cup once, and we've only won the Cricket World Cup once.
Yeah. We don't give the recognition to our sports
for a country that's so immersed in sports.
Yeah,
we should build statues of our legends. Because other countries respect their sportsmen. You go to Portugal, Cristiano Ronaldo is more important.
It's like a god.
You go to France, their sportsmen will be lionised.
Yeah. Zidane, Mbappe, all of them. Yeah. Here's something to think about. If Brian Clough had ever managed England, I think he would they have won the World Cup?
You never know. We'll never know.
Never know that. All I can tell you, big up Andy, all I can tell you is Brian Clough is way up the top of one of my greatest ever managers ever. What he done with Nottingham Forest will never be done ever again. It was absolutely incredible. He was amazing.
And that's the thing. He'll go to his grave, right, knowing that two provincial clubs in the East Midlands going nowhere. He won the league with Derby, got them to a Champions League semi-final. He went to Nottingham Forest when they were third in 1977, won the league in 78.
Incredible.
He won the league and League Cup. A year later, he won the Champions League and League Cup. A year later, he won the Champions League.
Incredible. Absolutely incredible. And he turned players like John Robertson into superstars.
John Robertson and Martin O'Neill were going nowhere at Nottingham Forest.
No. Unbelievable. Kenny was it Kenny Burns? Kenny Burns
was a centre forward when he
Burns was a centre forward, and look what he done to him. I mean, the guy I've just got like Brian Clough was just incredible, and it won't ever be done again. Harry never got the reason why he never got the England job is because he was too outspoken. He was too, and the FA it just did not sit with the FA.
See,
never gonna. Chopper Harris and Ian Hudson still alive of Chelsea.
You know, Brian Clough was the sort of person who would have farted in front of the FA at a banquet and laughed about it.
Yeah,
he would have done it just for the sake of doing it.
Yeah. Southgate got a knighthood because he was full paid up pusher of a woke agenda. He got a knighthood and never won anything. You know,
I think with Gareth Southgate is that when you look at England's history in terms of tournament football, we better pray that getting to 2 European Championship finals and a World Cup semi-final isn't as good as it's going to get. We have to pray that we actually do win something before before we die.
Yeah, that's why this World Cup will go down as one of my biggest memories of this World Cup is that tactical ineptness in that semi-final against Argentina, and Argentina for what they are. To be honest,
the thing about, I agree with everything. You know, the thing with Argentina, I'm so glad that the United States got to see what they were, the real Argentina.
Big up, Willis.
And I hope that they realise now, when you lionise some of their players, just remember who they are as people.
Yeah,
you know, we'll try to tell everyone about their antics, the sort of disgusting, racial chants. About their behaviour to off the ball. We try to tell them, but they saw it with them. They saw it with their own eyes.
With your own eyes, right down to the flag of the Falkland Islands and all of that. I mean,
we warned them about what they like. They didn't want to know when we told them what they did in 1990.
No.
They didn't want to know when we told them about 2006 when they lost the penalties to Germany. They didn't want to know about all that. But they now realise, and I'm glad FIFA saw it for their own eyes as well, because FIFA were desperate for. I think FIFA were desperate for Argentina to do well. You think about it, if you go back 30 years, Sepp Blatter was in love with Diego Maradona. He got let down because sadly Diego wasn't a well man and he was an addict. So, Johnny wanted Argentina to, win the World Cup because he wanted the story of Messi, because Messi's his poster boy. Nothing wrong with that. I get that, but it's a bit of a
big up for the
if you want fair play, and you actually want your football to be played with integrity and with great sportsmanship, and you want your referees to obey the law and not use their discretion when they feel like it, then you look at Argentina, and if Argentina won the World Cup, it left, for me, not everyone, it left a bad taste in the mouth.
Yeah. No,
I still haven't got over their behaviour.
I was watching that on my live watch along, and thank you once again for Gianni and Normski and Matty as well for joining. It was a really good watch along yesterday. All I kept thinking about, if this goes to penalties and Argentina, Kenny Ken, you won't be able to speak to Kenny Ken for about 48 hours. I won't be able to get him.
The thing with Argentina, right? There's only one Argentina. When I think about Argentina, I've got a lot of respect for their players, but not how they behave.
No.
The only person who I will allow, who I will let off with bad behaviour is Diego Maradona. He's the only person.
Yeah.
Reason why Diego Maradona wasn't a well man, and he I think mentally, physically, he wasn't well, and he's an addict. But him, I'll always forgive. Messi has had a fantastic career, and he'll go down as one of the best players ever. And the good thing about it, it's nice that we have a player in our era who can challenge Maradona and Pele. It's actually nice. We've got two players, because when you think about players, elite footballers, who's the best in the world, you can now look at Cristiano Ronaldo, Messi, Maradona and Pele and say, right, they defied footballing gravity with their stats. Because when you talk about players like Zidane, Ronaldinho, they're great players. But when you look at the stats, those four players I mentioned, you can't take away from them. The one player who should have been in that discussion is R9. R9 should have been in that discussion, but unfortunately, R9 was abused and spat out by the system, because they if you want to, we're always talking about players being overplayed when they're injured. Look at him. Look at what they did to him. Look what Brazil
R9.
Jesus.
Look what Brazil played and played and played and played.
Did to him. Look what Inter Milan did to him. All the clubs milked that cow until the cow became useless.
He had nothing left, man.
That guy should have got was on the way to getting 1,000 goals.
Yeah,
he was that good.
Oh, he was brilliant. He was absolutely unbelievable. Unbelievable. DJB, what do you think of us signing the mighty Garnacho? No, please don't. Ain't happening. Ain't happening.
Oh, Chelsea are bombing him out, innit? Chelsea are bombing them out, aren't they?
Yeah. Southgate was the PR man, Mr. Establishment. Gong should have only awarded for special achievement, but they got handed out like confetti for all these. Yeah, I mean, look, Southgate done exactly what he said he was going to do on the tin, didn't he?
Yeah, I'll agree with you.
Big up the Suge, big up DJB, Kenny Ken in the chat. Hit the likes and subscribe. Thank you, Suge. Member for 12 months. Absolute legend.
Suge, love you loads, mate. Good.
Big up the Suge. Andy as well. For me, the best England squads I've seen was Italia 90 and Euro 96.
I agree with you on that.
Players getting in with those squads?
You know what?
I agree with you, Andy.
You know what I say, Andy? If you had a mixture of those players in those two squads and the current players from 2008, from 2018 to 2026, I think England will won a tournament. They would have either won the World Cup or the European Championships. Because you think about it, the current players have won international tournaments as youngsters. Those players that we're talking about in 1990 and 1996, at least 2 or 3 of those players were elite. You mix them up together, you amalgamate them, England win a title. They either win the European Championships or the World Cup easily.
Yeah,
you think about it. With the team that Southgate and Tuchel had, you add in Paul Ince, Gaza,
oh my God,
Chris Waddle, Gary Lineker, maybe John Barnes, and then you who else you have? You had
you win the World Cup easy.
Tony Adams in defence, David Seaman in goal, and you mix him with the current players we have at the moment. We're winning the World Cup, mate. All the Euros.
Hands down. Come elite. Come elite. DJB, on a serious note, I've been supporting England for 6 years. Big up to you, my friend. Carry it on. Where should I go? I don't know if I should even support a national team. I do love England a lot, though. Look, you support... Look, how I would say with England supporters, most England fans, true England fans that follow them all around the world and up and down the country in all the tournaments, don't support big clubs. They're all for they're like Mansfield Town supporters and fans like that. You support who you want to. If your passion is supporting you in England and you follow a club team, so be it. So be it. I admire England fans. There's passionate England fans that kind of follow a club, if you like, but their main focus and their main passion and what they spend their money on is England, and there's nothing wrong with that. There's nothing wrong with that. You know, you go and if you want to follow England, and I don't know, you might support Reading or someone, but your main passion is England. I haven't got a problem with that. That's brilliant. Big up to you. I don't want Garnacho coming to Arsenal. That'd be terrible. Kane years ago would get in the most teams. Yeah. Say what you like about Harry Kane. He's been absolutely brilliant. But big up to everyone in the chat. Thanks for everyone that's raided over, Latvian as well. And we're going to draw it to a close. What a brilliant show. 2 hours.
I fully enjoyed it. You know what? I enjoyed the debate about Gregorius. I didn't realise that Nick was Swedish. I had no idea.
Yeah, Nick, big up to you, Nick. Big up to you, Nick. Welcome to the community. There's been a few people.
I didn't realise we were the same age. I didn't realise we're both born in 1972 as well. So
big up, Nick.
That was a good debate. But
good
saying
debate.
That, one thing I would say, right, is that I'm giving Tuchel. I don't think there's a better manager out there for me to Tuchel at the moment. The reason why is that I think Guardiola. If we give the job to Joey Guardiola, he's going to come to the same conclusion as Tuchel, Ericsson, Keegan, Hodgson, Southgate, that England can't control games because they haven't got they don't produce players who are comfortable on the ball.
I was just going to, before we close, right? This is something that I've always said. Big up, Suge. Who do you think will get the Ballon d'Or? For me, Rodri is a shout. Mbappe not winning at Madrid or France. Kane poor at the World Cup. Messi is not there. Haaland is another shout. I don't think Rodri's done enough. I don't know.
I think we'll get it. The guy who won it last year because he won the Champions League.
Dembele.
Yeah, I think he'll get it again.
Yeah. Haaland's got a good shout. But I don't think they'll give it to Haaland. I hope Tuchel can lead England to the Euro and the World Cup. Look, Matteo is Canadian and he's got, he supports England. There's nothing wrong with that. It's not a problem. Big up to you, my friend. Respect. Kenny, I've always said this, right? And people say it's a mentality thing. But one of the things back in the day, I always said that we don't have enough of our English players playing abroad to learn the art of controlling games, to learn the art of controlling a football, being comfortable on the ball, keeping possession. The Spaniards are brought up with that. Italy, the great Italian teams of the past have been brought up with that, defending, keeping the ball, killing games and all of that. And I always said our players are just stuck in the rut of run, thrust, hustle, bustle. They don't learn the art of creativity and keeping the ball. And I still think that's predominant now. I don't think our players learn how to respect and keep the ball and all of that.
Reason why,
and we get found out when we go into tournaments.
All right, there are players who can do it. Kobe Mainu can do it, but he's deemed to someone who can't run, not physical enough, not fit enough off the ball.
Big up, my friend.
Believe it or not, I always slag off James Maddison, but he can kick the ball.
Yeah,
but James Maddison is that James Maddison's injury record was appalling, and two, he's slow, so he's not going to get a game. Alan Walton was overlooked by Tuchel, and I haven't seen any evidence of a big club coming in for him because, in essence, he's slow. Like he's good on the ball, but in terms of like, Crystal Palace fans can correct me, but there's no reason why he can't play at international level. There's no reason why he can't play for a big club because he's got all the attributes on the ball. But the problem we got in English football is that
the Premiership don't allow us to.
They don't allow, but you know, and that's why I do sometimes I do worry about those things because in essence, England have got to where they are, semi-finals or final of the Euros, on the back of their football. You can't take it away. England's athleticism, their ability to get bodies forward, got them to the European Championship final of 2020.
Yeah.
That ability to put pressure on teams, run, and create something out of nothing. Yeah. I still genuinely believe that got them to the final of 2024. You have to look at the game against Slovakia, Jude Bellingham, the game against Holland. You know, our good friend, the win. You know what I mean? Watkins.
I just feel that managers have got to find a way to not take the English game out of our England performance on a big stage, but I just find a way where they've got to. Our players have got to learn the technical. You look at Spain; they're technically gifted. Whoever comes, that's comes off. Players come on. The system don't change. Everything's the same.
Yeah, but they've been playing. A lot of those players have been playing like this since they're 5.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. We've got to find that way. I mean, you look at the Max Daumans now. Max Dauman is a brilliant, gifted young player. But what do we want him to do? Oh, take him on. Go on, run past him. We want that, but we also want the Max Dauman where he can keep the ball.
Well, you know what's happened. You're going to waste
it down.
England or Arsenal are going to waste Max Dauman anyway because they're going to play him in the wrong position. England and Arsenal should be playing match down in the midfield.
Yeah, 100%. But this is what I'm hoping for England in the future. That
they shouldn't play Ranieri in midfield. Ranieri will, if he will be playing, if he plays for England, he'll have to play in the midfield as well.
Yeah, but again, do we actually bring our young talent through? I mean, I looked at Emil Smith-Rowe when he first burst on the scene. I see him play when he was, before he even got in the Arsenal first team, and I'm thinking, this kid's got something. He's got like now. If he was Spanish and all of that, you would see him shine probably.
Yeah, but
we don't seem to get our youngsters to be confident on the ball and play with a bit of confidence.
Emil Smith-Rowe. What happened to Emil Smith-Rowe is what happens in football. If you getting injured in football is the equivalent of the expression "you snooze and you lose." He, in footballing terms, snoozed. We went and bought Declan Rice. We went and bought Havertz. We went and bought.
Big up, man.
We went and bought every other player in his place. The youngsters came through like Miles Lewis-Skelly. The youngsters came through like Ranieri. We're going to come through like Ranieri. We didn't need him anymore. It's simple. We didn't need him. No. In the 23-24 season, we played well without him. In 22-23, the team moved away from Emil.
Yeah.
And that's why it was surplus requirements.
I just find it frustrating that you don't have to take that kind of cut and thrust out of the English game. I just feel that our players, no matter who's manager of England, they've got to find a way to get these players to
what will happen
and be good in possession.
All right. Whoever wins the league, we need right. The problem we've got is that Man City decided that Phil Foden couldn't get in a team, so that there was a real reason he didn't get on a plane to the United States. He wasn't playing for Man City. He was out of form. You can't take a player out of form on reputation, because we did that in 2024, and he was hit and miss, and he was a bit hit and miss in the World Cup. Cole Palmer has been injured. He spent most of this season injured, and then when he's come back, he's come back a yard off the pace. You can't take him to a World Cup.
No.
Alexander-Arnold on the other end should have gone, because he was beginning to play major games for Real Madrid. Doesn't matter that they didn't win the league. Doesn't matter they didn't win the Champions League. He was playing on a regular basis for the end of the season. He's a different one.
Yeah.
Harry Maguire, I hate to say it, right? But England moved away from Harry Maguire. The Euros. He wasn't part of Southgate's plans for 23 for the Euros of 24.
No,
he wasn't part of Tuchel's initial plans or Kazi's initial plans. It was like if players were injured, like players like John Stones could have gone to the World Cup, or Gay could have gone to the World Cup, Harry Maguire would have gone. But I'm telling you now, Harry Maguire, if everyone's fit, will not play for England. It's not going to happen for him.
No.
Because England's moved away from him.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, look, there's got to be life after Kane, and that's a worry. But we'll see. But big up everyone that's locked in.
Jude Bellingham could we'll just have to.
Yeah. Big up Matteo, and big up Matteo for becoming a member as well. I did highlight. We spoke about this earlier, my friend. 117 million is only reasonable fee for a player like Vinny or Mbappe. Yeah, 117 million. You was on about the Rodgers deal. We spoke about that earlier in the show. Me and Kenny are not losing too much sleep over it, to be honest. Not at all. We're not losing. It's only the pride that's been with a lot of Arsenal fans, because they think we've got this God-given right to sign everything that moves.
One thing I will say,
we haven't.
One thing I will say, though, can you imagine Alisson and Rodri in that midfield for Man City?
Yeah.
Younger legs.
Yeah.
Playing number 8.
Yeah. It's going to be...
Anderson playing number 8, younger legs, eager to please.
Yeah. Rodri back on form.
He's doing all Rodri's running.
Yeah,
they're going to be a danger, Man City.
They're going to be a danger. Haaland's got the bit between his teeth after a good World Cup as well. He looks like he's got a smile on his face. And I'll tell you what. I'm going to say it. I think you'll get a tune out of Phil Foden next season as well. I think with Anderson and Rodri in that midfield, Phil Foden will come to life next season.
Phil Foden missed out on the World Cup. I think Phil Foden must have personal problems because there's no way he's not going to go. I think there's something going off the field. He can't be because he's too good a player not to get in the game. And that,
I mean, he ain't had the most. But I just think Man City are going to be a force next season. I do. I honestly believe you've got Cherky. He ain't gone nowhere. Marmouche. And then I think Areola's going to get Liverpool ticking as well. But I think Liverpool need to sign.
I think what's happened is that Arsenal
man. Good point.
The only time Arsenal, even when Arsenal look good, that when they've been hunted, they haven't won the league. In 1999, Arsenal were brilliant that season, but they didn't win the league. Man United picked them. In 2003, Arsenal were brilliant that season, but Man United won the league. So even when Arsenal have been at their best, they still haven't won the league. They still haven't retained the league. Which shows you what happens is that the levels next season could be, may not be, could be, at such a level that we will find it difficult to retain the league. I hope we don't. I hope we meet the challenge, both. But what will happen is that whatever happens,
Kenny, I don't think we're prepared enough.
But I'll tell you one thing, though, DG. Whatever happens will be difficult to beat. And I think,
we will be difficult to beat. We will be difficult.
That we'll be there and thereabouts.
I don't think that's going to be
the league next season. We'll be there and thereabouts on the basis we're difficult to break down and difficult to beat. And I think that gets somewhere.
I just think we've got to add something different in our attacking third. And I don't think unless we sign the right players, I can't see that. I can't see us changing next season.
We definitely got to change this. We definitely got to tweak the style of play. We have to because I say it now. What will happen is that teams will fight. Teams may put us under so much pressure. We'll creak. Teams may defend deep against us, and we won't be able to break them down. So we do have to. Let's face it. Teams, you'll find next season a lot of teams are going to will work us out. To our detriment.
Well, they started to anyway. They started to anyway, Kenny. Didn't
look at Man City. In the last 2 years, 2 seasons, the reason why Man City haven't won the league is teams have worked them out.
Yeah, and that's why this manager coming in with the players they've got, with Rodri coming back into form, with Anderson in the midfield. They're going to have a completely different dimension in the way they play. I think they're going to be pretty.
You know what? You look at remember Spain. Remember when Spain dominated from 2008, 2012? They won everything.
Yeah.
Eventually, teams worked them out. It happens in football.
It does.
If you don't tweak it slightly, teams work you out. Like Spain won the Euros because they mixed it up between possession football and pace on the wings. And got pace on one side and goal on the other side. And they've done it. They've done something. They've gone back to their tiki-taka ways. But what's happened is that in this heat, they're always going to be difficult to beat in this heat, in this humidity, because they keep the bloody ball. But who knows, in the Euros, where it's not going to be as hot as, saying that it's bloody hot in England, but who knows, teams may have worked Spain out. And they don't know it. But the best teams and the best coaches always work you out because it's their job. Yeah. Because they're fed up with getting beaten all the time. So they've got to stop getting beaten and stop the rot. So they'll find ways to work you out. It's football.
100%, mate. No, 100%. And this is what we've got to do. We've got to overcome that. We have to overcome that next season. And, But we're just going to go and find out who's live, who we can raid.
Hey, last time you did that, you froze the bloody stream. You froze everyone.
I've probably frozen. Sorry. I'm sorry.
You're not frozen. I'm only joking. You're not frozen.
Have I frozen?
No.
Okay, hang on a minute. I'll be back. Here we go. All good. All good. We're all back. We're gonna
freeze. What I said is that every time you try to
did I freeze, Kenny? Did I
freeze the camera?
Let's have a look. Did I freeze?
No.
Right. Dan is live. 12th man. Yeah. Dan is 12th man is live. Dan Potts is live. So when we finish here, make sure you go and say DJB raid, DJB and Kenny Ken raid, and go and show him some respect and show him some support. Look at the teams like Sunderland, Fulham, Liverpool, Wolves last season. Barely any English players starting, only a couple on the bench at any given game. 2 not good enough if England want to compete. Yeah, exactly. Paul could scoop the Prem. Who knows? Who else? Alonso will have Chelsea up there. I think so. I think so.
Agree with you, mate.
I agree with you. I think Alonso will have that team ticking next season. I do agree. They are going to be a tough team, and we've got them very early in the season, and it's going to be Alonso's first.
You know what? It's a good time to play the big boys because the big boys are finding their feet.
Yeah, 100%. You know what I mean? I'm happy to get Chelsea first game, but I've got to be worried. I want to before we close, Kenny, on Arsenal. What I want to see. This is what I want to see. I want to see. We're not going to get the 6 players out the door. That ain't happening. We're not going to get rid of Havertz and all that. But we've still got Jesus. We've still got Fabio Vieira. We've still got Nelson. Yeah. For me, we have got to get rid of players out the door. And if we make two signings on top of what we've got, Arteta changes his ways tactically, changes it up a little bit so he can confuse, because they all know how we're going to play.
One more before we go. It's just a public service announcement.
Go on, my friend.
And it's because it's 9:30. Bloody hell, could you believe it? We've been.
I know. We've had a great stream.
Right, I'm going to get my words out. First thing to say. Right.
Go on.
I don't like the way Arsenal handled tickets for the Community Shield.
No. I was just going to say that as
you shouldn't be giving. You shouldn't be, asking loyal fans to go on a ballot. It's not right.
No,
don't do that. You didn't do it 3 years ago when we got to the Community Shield at Wembley.
Kenny. And I'm not going to the Charity Shield on that basis.
You want
principle.
A lot of loyal fans who couldn't get to Budapest. Some of them couldn't get to Wembley. Don't shoot us in the eye of a catapult, mate. It's not right.
100%, mate. 100%.
I know there's a massive demand for tickets. Everyone is now an Arsenal supporter, and all the Arsenal fans come out of the woodwork. But don't hurt your diehard fans.
That's what they've done, Kenny. That's what they've done. I'm not going in. I'm not balloting as a season ticket holder for many years. I'm not balloting for a
ballot for the Community Shield. Stop it.
Sorry, I'm not doing it. I'm not doing it.
Come on.
I'm not doing it. And that's no disrespect to the fans that have to go into a ballot. But me and Kenny Ken have been following this football club for years, season ticket holders, and they're asking us to go into a ballot for a Charity Shield match. No, I'm not doing it. There's
better ways to do this. Come on.
Absolutely. Kenny, anyway, it's been an absolute brilliant show. I mean, 2.5 hours? It's been brilliant. And big up to Normski that joined us earlier as well. Make sure you go and sub to Normski TV. He needs to get his subs up. He's one of the most lovely gents on this circuit, honestly. Go over to Normski TV and put a sub on it.
As I said before, to all football fans out there, you're going to need a break. All right, you've got 5 weeks. Do what you got to do. Go on holiday. Be nice to your wife. Be nice to your kids. Spoil them rotten, because I ain't going to see much of you from August.
Exactly. Me and Kenny I'm going to have a little break whilst the World Cup's over before Arsenal starts, because I'm telling you now, buckle up. It's going to be a bumpy ride. And, it's Arsenal. Nothing's easy. The transfer window's not going to be easy. Getting players out the door's not going to be easy. And I'm sure there's going to be many knockbacks between now and the start of the season, because it's Arsenal. It's what we do. However, we're not the only club in the land, And if players want to go elsewhere, let them go elsewhere. I want players at my club that want to play for us.
Yeah, look,
simple as that.
When you're the age of 23, you're entitled to talk to other clubs. You're entitled to speak, to decide where the best platform is for your career.
Absolutely.
You're entitled to talk to Arsenal, Chelsea, and you're entitled to make a decision between all the other clubs.
100%.
23.
Don't take it personal. Don't take it personal. It's where he wants to go. If it all falls on its head, so be it.
It's his decision. Let's move on. The goals are still the same size, the rules are still the same, and we're still the champions. Get on with it.
Yeah, and David Raya is fresh because he never got no minutes. But there you go. Ooh. Anyway, guys, Kenny, where can the absolute legends find you?
You can find me on Instagram at KennyKen1972. I believe we're doing a show with Jez tomorrow, and then that's it.
And that's it. I'm gonna do sporadic shows. There will be a Sunday sit back, I believe. If not a Sunday sit back, I am going to be doing a couple of more. I'll probably do another show this week. Then I'm going to have a little break, guys, because I've not had a break. Been doing World Cup watch-alongs and everything, trying to keep
get your feet up, mate.
I do need a little bit of time out, people, and then we're going to be back before we know it. We'll be back on Lee's channel doing the Rat Army on a Monday. But thank you everyone that's joined, everyone that's come across, everyone. If you've just discovered the Arsenal Huddle, make sure you sub, smash a like, please, guys. When we finish here, go and show Dan Potts some respect and some love. And 0-10 shit transfer window at the moment, my friend. At the moment, but look, listen. The World Cup's been on, and not many deals happen during the World Cup. So let's just judge it by the end of it. But yeah, I am a little bit worried along with you people. But guys, go show Dan, DJB, and Kenny Ken raid, and big up to everyone. Respect, bless, and we'll see you all soon. Take care, people.